Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're all doing well. We're back in business with another classic clan war. It's going to be RTK against XMT here today, and certainly got a very serious run of competition. So for those of you guys who like 2v2s and 3v3s, I think, do we have a 4v4? No, I think it's just 2v2s and 3v3, and then mostly 1v1s. We're going to be having a full day of competition. It is 8 a.m. here in the States. It's probably the earliest I've gotten up in quite some time, but goddamn, I'm ready to party, man. Let's go ahead and do it. We're going to be getting into the first match here. It is going to be Kafka facing off against Stormrunner. We'll be getting into the spec lobby, and that will be it. How's everyone doing? Hope you're doing well. Let's go. Let's get the hype going. Let's wake up. It's showtime, man. It's showtime. So we are in the lobby. The champion for RTK is going to be Kafka facing off against Stormrunner of XMT. They are going to be facing off, I believe, on the Oaken Hammer. But nonetheless, we'll be switching on over here to show you the tail of the tape for the day. So just give me a hot second. Getting a couple things set up here last minute, and we should be good to go. What's up? How's it going, guys? Yes, it is time. No more games. Let's stream some Total War Warhammer. I think that's the plan. So, switching on over to the tail of the tape for the day. You can see up on the top left, we will have the score for RTK. Top right will be XMT, and we have a glorious spreadsheet that was put together here by the vicious Satsuma, it would appear. Not sure who made the original one. But the first match of the day is going to be Kafka on the Dark Elves facing off against Stormrunner on his Wood Elves on Oakenhammer. After that, it's going to be Ulrich Rahl on Wood Elves facing off against Uncle Gant with the Vampire Counts. Then we have our first 2v2. It's going to be Jay Phoenix and Umais, High Elves and Dwarves facing off against Falcon and Maximus Decimus on Bretonnia and Dwarves. Bretonnia and Dwarves is a very, very strong combo. You get the Mortis engine, you get great artillery, cavalry, all sorts of good stuff. But more importantly, you get Fae Enchantress, who's super good in 2v2. After that, we have the vicious Satsuma facing off against Gabo Slayer, Greenskins versus Lizardmen. Another 2v2. It's going to be Happy Puppy and Valkynos teaming up with Tomb Kings versus Vampire Counts, facing off against Poison Ducky and Katam, who are going to be on the Tomb Kings and Norskins. Very interesting combo there, for sure. Very clear-cut synergy when you see Tomb Kings and Vampire Counts, right? Double Undead, Invocations, Healing Constructs, that sort of stuff. But Tomb Kings, Norska, a little bit different, for sure. After that, we have the Slayer facing off against Ice Power Total War. It's going to be Chaos versus Dark Elves. The Prussian Prince on Bretonnia against Killer Inu on High Elves. Interesting matchup there. Definitely Bretonian favorite in my experience. But again, perhaps Killer Inu has some scheme that we are not aware of. So that should be good. Should be good indeed. And then we have the Platypus and Felix facing off against Away and Delta. It's going to be Beastman Empire versus Beastman Vampire Coast. Looks like the Beastman playing both sides of the field, you know, not just taking it easy, playing it safe. I don't blame him. We then have Bob Tresh facing off against Greenskins. So it's going to be, Lizardmen versus Greenskins with their, I'm not sure how to say that. And then we have Human Boy, Vicious Satsuma, and the Spud House versus Falcon, Maximus, Decimus, and Poison Ducky in our final 3v3 of the day. So as we do progress through the tournament, I'll be marking the winners for each side. So for example, in the first game, if Kafka wins or if Stormrunner wins, I'll be highlighting the box on the respective side of this spreadsheet as green. We did blind picks. Okay, that makes sense, Jay Phoenix. Yeah, that's right. I remember Satsuma telling me that. Yeah, so they're blind picks. That would explain how High Elves got picked into Bretonnia, because that's normally something you would probably never see. Yeah. It's time. So we have a set of matches here today. We're going to be getting into our first one here in just a moment. It looks like the players are in the lobby. They're going to be doing their picks and bans. Not picks and bans, but picking their armies. There are no bans. They were blind picks. So it would appear that the matchups for the clan war were done all blind, essentially, right? So, you know, a little bit of wild action, but also getting matchups you don't normally see, which I think is very fun and engaging in terms of like watching tournaments and all that sort of good stuff. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get this started. Get the nameplates all set up here. It's going to be Kafka against Stormrunner. Welcome, welcome. How's everyone doing? Hope you guys are doing well. Stormrunner. All right, we're updating this. And now we can jump on over to ye old lobby. So I just need to update the nameplate a little bit so Stormrunner's name fits a little bit more appropriately. We're all set. Cool. Okay, looks like I might need an army blocker actually. So we'll just go back to the main screen until I can get that set up. So as soon as they get into the match, we'll be jumping back over to the other perspective. Jedi Master Draco asks, what matchups do you think will be affected most by the magic resist changes? Oh, dude, I have no idea, man. I mean, obviously the dwarves will probably be the most affected, you know, because there's going to be a couple different types of magic resist. So they'll be the ones that will probably be the most noticeable differences. But yeah, we'll see. We will see indeed. Grant, How's the arm and hand doing? It's doing better, actually. I'm able to play the game again. I've been playing the past couple days, which has felt really good. Super excited about that. So, yeah, things are getting better for sure. I can play like pretty much as well as I was pre-surgery, which was about, what, June 3rd? So it's been, yeah, almost a month, give or take, just over 3 weeks. So, yeah, it's good, man. Progress is good. Much quicker than last time. The first procedure I had was really nasty. Plus, when it's on your mouse hand, you know, that's pretty rough for sure. Pretty rough for sure. Yeah, welcome. Clan War time. This is a classic RTS legacy. If you guys have ever watched old school StarCraft or Warcraft 3, Clan Wars are always a really fun kind of element of those communities back in the days of old. Back when they used to have LANs. You guys remember that? LAN tournaments, all that stuff back in the Brood War and StarCraft days. Back in the 90s when I was first playing Brood War. I guess it would have been, yeah, like late 90s StarCraft. One of my friend's dads actually ran like a computer workshop in our hometown. We had like this lab where he essentially taught like people how to use computers, and he was a big StarCraft fan, right? So he installed StarCraft on all these PCs and set up a LAN system. So he would invite myself and a bunch of our other friends to go, and we would have these big like LAN events where all of us would be playing like 2v2s and 3v3s and all this sort of good stuff. Man, those are some pretty epic memories. Back in the days of old, because back then it wasn't like as common to be able to like just go online and get these cool matches and meet people, right? So like being able to LAN with all your friends, like it felt like a very magical experience, to say the least. But yeah, thought that was just a little fun story to share with you all. What time is it for me? Let's see, 8 o'clock. Yeah, 8:06 in the morning. Yeah, StarCraft was 99, so it would have been around that time, wasn't it? The original StarCraft a little bit earlier than that, because Warcraft 3 was like what, like 2001 or something? I can't remember, man. It's been so long. Yeah, I was real young though. All right, so here we are. The champion of RTK is going to be Kafka. So Kafka coming in here with the Dread Spears and Bleak Swords in the front line, backed up by Corsairs in the secondary. Now, Corsairs are pretty good against light infantry that don't tend to have the best armor piercing. So, you know, Dryads, for example. Dryads do lack AP, don't have great armor piercing. So the Blackheart Corsairs could have actually a pretty decent matchup there in the front line. Backed up in the back here by the Dark Riders. So 1, 2, 3, including Slaanesha's Harvesters for a little bit of magic damage. Harvesters with a little bit of support can really run over Dryads as well. We have the triple Dark Rider with the Repeater Crossbow coming in for Kafka as well. Solid choice. I mean, they're good in most matchups, right? They're hands down one of the staples of the roster. They hit very hard. And the Wood Elves are a little bit tricky for them. They're mobile, and, you know, Wood Elves can typically out-skirmish them, but with good positioning, maybe setting them behind the front line or behind a wall of Dark Riders, they can help decide many fights against like Wild Riders and Cavalry and Trees and all that sort of fun stuff. For the Lord, it is going to be Foot Malekith, the Witch King, deciding to march with his troops today. He's feeling a little bit empathetic for his soldiers, but he does indeed have the Soul Stealer, and that is pretty much it. So the Witch King is here to party. Now for the champion of, isn't this a XMT clan war? Because Stormrunner is in, it says DBD here. Okay, the conspiracies are afoot. Perhaps Stormrunner is like an honorary XMT member. I'm not quite sure. Wait, is my brain just, okay. Did I totally miss the wagon on this? I saw Felcon on the list. I know it's XMT. Anyways, Stormrunner here apparently, you know, playing a couple clans here. All right. So he's got Dryads in the front, backed up here by Glade Riders with the Hagbane Tips. In the backfield, we do have Waywatchers. Waywatchers, of course, always pretty good for sniping down big targets. And yeah, Pravenoth Ramos in play, which is pretty much not mandatory, but it's very helpful when you have Waywatchers, right? In the backfield, Wild Riders with shields and the Wild Hunters of Kurnus should be able to dominate the cavalry fight should one happen, but what often happens is Dark Elves will block you and sacrifice a Dark Rider, overwatch you with the Repeater Crossbows, and then drop a big, fat, erect Soul Stealer on top of that fight, and that's how they win. Okay, DBD is an XMT. Okay, so you guys are like one clan. XMT are DBD, AC, and XMT. Why don't you guys just all play under XMT? They got absorbed. Oh god, Anakin, I'm too weak. I need some water. Help me. Okay, so they're sister clans. Makes sense. So there's like an unholy alliance. There's like 3 clans teamed up to fight against the Titan here. Very cool. Never knew that. That's news to me, man. You know, I always feel like I somewhat have my finger on the pulse, but with this, I apparently did not. Bob Tresh in chat saying XMT is cheating and should be DQ'd. All right, well, we'll see what happens. So here on the flank, the Dark Riders of Kafka are going to be moving in and probably just taking some pot shots here at the Dryads. Why the hell not, right? On the other side of the battlefield, we do have a little bit of light skirmishing. It looks like Stormrunner here going to be taking the worst of this exchange, as the Dark Riders do get the charge. They're pretty beat up, so the Dark Riders probably could follow up and just win, but now the Wood Elves and Stormrunner are going to be pulling in the Glade Riders with the Hagbane tips to return fire. And with better range and poison, they typically outtrade the Dark Riders pretty efficiently if microed well. But here in this case, the Dark Riders did win that fight, and now they're going to be pressing in to kind of keep them at bay. On the other side of the battlefield, it looks like we have a pretty similar engagement. We do have the Glade Riders engaging against Dark Riders, who appear to be winning in a vacuum. But now that the repeater crossbows are shooting in, the Dark Riders should have the advantage in that particular fight. Frontline engaging is underway. Bleak Swords against Dryads. Dryads do defeat Bleak Swords, but they will not defeat the Corsairs. So maybe the Bleak Swords should pull back. It looks like the Corsairs are piling in very aggressively. And where are the Way Watchers? Okay, the Way Watchers are being used on the flank. Really good performance, actually, from the Glade Riders with spears. They still almost traded evenly, despite being attacked 3v1, which is a very, very good performance for those cavalry units. But so far, the Way Watchers don't really have too many good targets. I suppose that the Corsairs probably are the best choice. So a big Christmas charge coming in. The Wild Hunters of Kurnus ramming into the Corsairs here. Also going to be slamming into the Dark Riders. And they should have a good fight here. Wild Riders with their charge bonus going to be pretty saucy for sure. And it looks like some Dryads are also piling in the backfield to support. But you don't want to stay too long. The Dark Elves are coming in greater numbers. Also a big Soul Stealer right here. Could be a big game changer. In the meantime, Word of Pain used. Oh no, and the Slaanesha's Harvesters overextend a little bit. Trying to chase down the Glade Rider here, or the Glade Lord I should say, and are now being focused very heavily by the Way Watchers. Talk about a punishing volley right there. Those Harvesters really just getting their bread buttered. And that's an expensive loss for sure. Very, very nice catch here for the Hardwood. And it looks like Malekith going to be dropping a Gaze of Malice. Does some okay damage, generally a little bit better used on tightly packed infantry. And Soul Stealer does go down, a nice one. It hits both of these high value units. And Malekith and the boys continue to grind through the front line as the Dryads do lose that initial fight, and the Dryads over here will probably fall shortly to the combined forces of the Dark Elf infantry. However, look at the value here in the backfield. We have a single beat-up Glade Rider with spears actually chasing down both of these Dark Rider repeater crossbows. Now, what should probably happen here is Kafka should turn around and just countercharge them, be able to defeat them, and then move up the repeater crossbows and to lend to that supporting fire. Now, the balance of power was actually kind of Wood Elf favored after that Harvester catch, but the Dark Elves have really dominated the front line super hard. I mean, every single Dryad just kind of got massacred, and now the archers in the back, the Way Watchers, are really being rode down by these cheap, cost-effective Dark Riders who are also shielded, which will make them even more durable and effective at bringing down these very elite, very expensive archers. So we'll see how that unfolds. Balance power is very even. Taking inventory of what the Wood Elves have left, we do have the Dryads up here on the top. The Glade Lord, not going to be much of a duel for the Witch King. The Witch King marching in on foot to settle that one. We have Wild Riders with shields back here attempting to peel off the Dark Riders. But overall, it looks like the Druchii are in a pretty dominant position. I mean, a couple loose engagements are going okay for the Dark Elves. They'll be able to win this fight here. But yeah, there's not too much left for the Wood Elves, honestly. And I feel like the balance of power should probably be much worse. There's a ton of durable, armor on the battlefield, right? We have the Witch King who's rocking 90 armor and a silver shield. We also have the Blackheart Corsairs who are pretty erect against most of the threats here. The only thing that can really efficiently kill the Corsairs is going to be the Way Watchers. And the Way Watchers are more or less on death's bed right now. I mean, we're not seeing too many. That was a nice little awakening of the wood. But yeah, look at this. The Witch King just going just deep right here, really cutting apart this character. And it looks like the Glade Lord is going to be down to about 700 HP. So not the best time for that character. I have no idea what's going on with the balance of power. I feel like it should be massively Dark Elf favored. I guess in the backfield, a couple Wild Riders have secured this position, but even still, I don't think this whole pocket of Wood Elf troops would be able to stand up and fight against this Corsair unit. The Corsairs, again, have good armor, so that makes them relatively durable against Wild Riders, which do not have the best armor piercing. So the Druchii appear to be drawing first blood here. It would seem that RTK will be getting the first win here in the clan war, setting the tone for the rest of the clan war. We will see. Some more cavalry screaming across the battlefield. We do have the Glade Riders with spears, maybe looking to intercept into this fight. Nothing to really save here, though, but they should be able to get a nice charge onto the Dark Riders, take out a couple of them on impact. But as soon as they saturate into the Corsairs, that is going to be a losing fight for them. And I think it's only a matter of time before army losses. Let's see what the players are saying right now. They're just saying, you ready? Yeah, I'm ready, man. Let's do it. So Dark Riders shooting in, finishing off the last of the Dryads. We do have the Branch Wraith. It's not like we have a hard carry character. There's no Mel Gibson. There's no Durthu, so it doesn't look like there's going to be any way out of the pits here for the Wood Elves, as the Branch Wraith does get afflicted by Soul Stealer. Army loss is getting pretty danger close. Wood Elves do have a couple skirmishers around the battlefield, including the Glade Riders here, and some on the other side as well, but that is most certainly not going to be enough. A single Corsair unit could easily dispatch probably both of these cav units, maybe not with good cycle charging, but even still. So the wood is being awakened here in the morning. I certainly understand that. And there, the Dark Riders with the repeater crossbows able to effectively dodge that shot. And now they are going to be unleashing some armor-piercing salvos directly into the face of this mighty branch wraith thing. And army losses should be kicking in any second. Perhaps that Earthblood will save them. But game one in the clan war is going to be going to RTK. So there you have it. Dark Elves doing some work. Very, very nice performance for sure. And you know, that's interesting because that's usually a matchup that, in my experience, has been pretty massively favored for the hard wood. So seeing the Dark Elves have a good performance there is certainly pretty cool. And the name of the game really was the Corsair Infantry. Not that they got like crazy insane value, but they were durable, right? They busted through the Dryads. It gave a lot of a big threat to the Wood Elf army that really only had solid armor piercing in its 2 missile pieces. Oftentimes you'll see Glade Guard spam in that matchup, see like 4 or 5 of them. That's like probably a little bit more consistent than using the Way Watchers, but I mean, they both work fine. But yeah, Malekith on foot was also just an absolute gangster. That was a fun matchup. Very cool. Not often you get to see Corsairs, but when you do, man, well, you know, I think they're pretty underrated. The Morning Awakening of the Wood, yes indeed. Yes indeed. So it is time. These are all best of ones. So we're going to be jumping on over now to the old brackets. We can get everything updated. So the first blood is going to be going to, let's go ahead and update this. Through the power of technology, we shall update this. All right. So for those of you guys who are organizing the event, I had a quick question I forgot to ask. Are the 2v2s and 3v3s weighted any differently in terms of points? If they are, do let me know as we get going here. So the first one is going to be going to RTK and Kafka, claiming first blood. And RTK will be getting the win there. So there you have it. We'll, of course, be having the score up in the top left and right. And now we're going to be getting ready for the next match. So in the meantime, you guys can kind of see the tail of the tape for the day. We have another 1v1 between Ulrich Rahl and Uncle Gantz coming up. And then from there, we will be going into a 2v2 match, which is very exciting. This is actually a pretty fun format. Like basically having the clan war where you have different kind of game types involved, 1v1s, 2v2s. It's a very common format you see in other RTS games. Not so much in StarCraft, but in Warcraft 3. Clan wars, or for example on Back to Warcraft, they were just hosting they weren't hosting, but they were commentating on the China versus the West, which was a really, really fun tournament they had where they had like 1v1s and 2v2s. I thought it was a really, really cool format. So yes, it's happening. All right, so let's get in that next match. GG, well played to those two fine champions. And now we'll be going over to the next match, which Ulrich Rahl should be here. I know he was running a little bit late, but it looks like they are indeed here. And the dreaded password, we got it covered. Dude, I was okay at Excel back in the day. I used to have to use Excel for my old job. Back in my other life. Yes, perfect. All right, so let's go ahead and get this updated. Who is where? We have Uncle Gant versus Ulrich Rahl. It's got to be some vampire counts versus, I believe, the Wood Elves again. Wood Elves have been making many appearances in the meta lately. So we're loading into the match. It's going to be on Galbaraz. We'll be getting this fired up in just a moment. So let's see. So yes, 2v2 have 2 points and 3v3 have 3 points. Is that okay? Is that the case? I'll double check just to be safe. Yeah, Stormrunner, the Way Watchers were kind of a bust, right? There was nothing expensive to shoot. I mean, the Corsairs were your best target, but even still, they only cost like 500 or 600 gold. So, okay, Satsuma, thank you. Got it. So the team games are a little bit more heavily weighted. Fair play to you. All right. Let's load into this bad boy. Update these scorecards. Hopefully the names will fit and I won't have to do too many changes. All right, let's go. I need to get a little bit more of an efficient scoreboard system. So it like automatically adjusts the names to fit the plates there. All right. I'm very happy you have this job and said, thank you, Melody. Appreciate that. My previous job was actually up in San Jose. I lived in the Bay Area for many years. Well, for about 3 years, not too many, but it was pretty rough. I mean, I worked for a nonprofit, and you know, nonprofits don't really pay the best, so I had to live in an apartment with like a bunch of people. It was the Wild West. I remember trying to record my early YouTube videos because the very first YouTube videos for the first like maybe year of my channel, maybe six months to a year, were in that apartment, and it was I always had to time it for when people were gone and things like that. Turin should release an Excel tutorial series alongside the Warhammer guides. Ah, yes, of course. You know, I was pretty bad at Excel compared to my coworkers, but basically I would run like big sporting events I was an athletic director for my job, and we would keep track of the athletes on there and their profiles and all that sort of stuff, and make sure all their paperwork was up to date and that sort of thing. Perhaps do just clan names and total points. We could do that. I think it's kind of cool to see like who's playing what as well, but yeah, I don't know. That's what we've done in the past, but I also do want to highlight the players, so yeah, it's a tricky one. I think we're okay for now. Turin, I want to ask when CA fixed the rogue idle to crumble instead of routing. I don't think that will ever happen. Yeah, I don't know why. I just get the feeling that's not going to be like a priority. All right, so here we are. It's going to be Uncle Gant leading the forces of the Vampire Counts, facing off against Ulrich Rahl, who's going to be championing clan RTK here. Wasn't Ulrich Rahl in a different clan? Well, I guess people do a switch here and there, but Ulrich Rahl is going to be playing the hardwood, backed up by an ancient tree man. Now, for the forces of Uncle Gant, pretty much every time I've seen him in action, I know he really likes Heinrich Kemmler. So there's going to be zombies in the front, backed up by basic Graveguard. Basic Graveguard pretty much handle everything you need in infantry against Wood Elves. Some people just go chaff or skeletons against them as well, but basic Graveguard can do a number against the Wood Elf infantry. I mean, absolutely dominating Dryads and doing very well against Eternal Guard, all sorts of good stuff. So aside from that, we do have Vlad von Karstein. Oh, hell yeah. Vlad versus Ancient Tree Man. We got the Varix Reavers in the back, a couple Corpse Guards, Hounds, Bats, double White King with the Scab's Grace. No surprise there. Pretty much every Vampire Count player and their dog and pet hamster will be bringing those items to bear. And that is it. Somebody asks, what sports did I play in college? So I played football for 7 years, but I did not play football in college. Basically, I did football when a Pop Warner and then all through high school. And then I ran track and field in college. So track and field was the one sport I did do in college. I was going to do football, but I hurt my hamstring really bad. I was going to play, just at a local college, but then my cursed hamstring gave out on me. So had to switch on over to running a little bit more of a long distance race via the 400-meter dash, which was fun. All right, so the Vampire Counts are advancing forward. Here you can see a little bit of pressure coming in from the Great Stag Knights. Ooh, look at this. Ulrich Rahl with double Great Stag Knight. Okay, this is a really nice play by Uncle Gant. He flanked the Great Stag Knights with the bats, but does he have anything to pin them in with is the question. I mean, the bat gambit, as we can call it here, might be pretty cost effective if it can pin them in place. Oh, but now the Dire Pack and the Varix Reavers coming in. Will Uncle Gant be able to get away? He might be taking some casualties here. Van Hell's Dance Macabre going down, but it looks like an Awakening of the Wood responding from Ulrich Rahl might buy some time. And it looks like Ulrich is going to get away without taking too much damage. But that was a really, really nice usage of the Fellbats. Very similar to what we saw in the Everchosen many, many moons ago. We saw Aerocrastic against Soothsayer in the Grand Finals, pinning in cavalry engagements with Carrion, and it's a very, very strong tactic. And now you can see the Great Stag Knights not in the happiest of engagements, fighting the anti-large doggos here via the Dire Pack, but now they're going to be pulling back, seeing the reinforcements of the Wild Hunters come in. A very, very good retreat by Uncle Gant, and honestly, I think the Vampires might have come out a little bit ahead in that exchange. However, they did have to invest magic, and the Great Stags, 22 models here, and the other ones do have 20 right there as well, are now going to be retreating and pulling back here. So there they go. So Glade Guard are now in range. Most of them, I believe, are Starfire Shafts. Usually you see like one poison variant mixed in, and man, oh man, they're doing a big number on the Varix Reavers. Varix Reavers are shielded, but it looks like their backs are turned right now, so they're not going to be getting the benefit of that shield. They do regenerate as well, but Starfire Shafts really going to be super efficient at wearing down those bad boys, and of course they do fire damage, so they are going to be getting a bonus against these regenerating units. I think they're weak to fire. Let's go and double check this. Yes, they are. So the fire damage from the Starfire Shafts is going to be super cost effective. So Graveguard moving in. Though there is an Ancient Tree Man, they still should have a good engagement versus the Dryads. I was actually playing at my local game store the other day, and I saw somebody using an old Vampire Count Graveguard brick. It was pretty cool. The old models, they held up okay. I mean, they show their time a little bit, but I still thought they looked pretty cool. So Vlad going in with the White King, hunting down the Ancient Tree Man. Now, Vlad did get changed a while back, has pretty solid armor piercing, so should be able to put some hurt on the Tree Man if he can get into melee contact. And the rest of the frontline engagements, the Stearnsman and Graveguard moving up, and they seem to be performing pretty well. But massive focus fire coming in. Scab's Wraith from Uncle Gant going down the battle line here of the Glade Guard and some of the Spearman units. And now you can see the Stearnsman and all the other forces with a slow push, very much the inexorable advance of the Undead Legion. Nice cycle charging by Ulrich Rahl. Very, very common tactic for the Wood Elves when they fight like these kind of grindy armies, right? You cycle charge, pull back your bows while the cycle charging's happening, although it looks like Ulrich Rahl is really making a point to stand his ground and essentially fight here. Up in the sky, Uncle Gant going to be flying in with the Fellbats. Fellbats really need to get some pressure on this back line and or pin something in. Vlad von Karstein and his Graveguard Legion here in the front going to be pushing through the Dryads. Dryads should be breaking here in a matter of seconds with the anti-infantry damage coming in. And it looks like the Dire Pack is back in business with the Varix Reavers, both of which are being hit with big invocations. Balance power is pretty even here. I don't know if committing the Fellbats here is the right call. I mean, it will temporarily shut down the archers. I think maybe just kind of poaching in the back and waiting to either pin in the cavalry or chase down routing units might be the optimal play. But I mean, I suppose it's not bad, right? The archers are able to force these Glade Guard back. It's also occupying the attention here of the Great Stag Knights, and there's a couple benefits to that, right? So how is the grind going in the front line? Obviously, the Vampire Count's having a pretty good little bump and grind here. A nice summon of zombies does pin in a multitude of those Great Stag Knights, and many of these poor Eternal Guard are very heavily surrounded by the Lord of the Night. Here is Vlad von Karstein with the power shank right there, getting in there, taking out a couple of those units. Now, zooming back up, we can take more of a macro look here at the battlefield. Looks like an Earthblood going down right there. Going to be healing up the Ancient Treeman and the Great Stag Knights. Great Stag Knights do have a relatively high amount of HP per model, so they really are going to be enjoying things like Earthbloods. And man, look at the torrents of fire coming in. Glade Guards just pouring it onto the Dire Pack and the mobility. And again, if they kill the mobility, then suddenly the infantry, even the Wood Elf infantry, will be able to outmaneuver and outrun the Vampire Count army, especially with no Fellbats, no cavalry, no doggos. And I think that Uncle Gant does know this, and he uses a big invocation back here to heal up the Dire Pack, as well as the Reavers. Almost makes me think maybe just like pull these guys back until you can maybe compromise the archers or force them to waste their ammunition. Now, the Wood Elf's doing pretty good in the mobility game, picking off many of the mobile assets of the Vampire Count army. However, the Vampire Counts still have a very durable push. We have the Sternsman here. We do also have some Graveguard. And on the other side of the battlefield, we got zombies and just a lot of durable infantry. And Vlad the Chad, as I've heard him called recently, he is going to be very tough to kill. I mean, the Ancient Treeman can do it, but looking at this army, I mean, there's really not a lot here that's excellent against Vlad. Great Stag Knights, though, with proper cycle charging, you know, they pack a big armor-piercing punch. But even still, usually for Vlad and Sigvald and these type of characters who are just crazy scary linebackers, you know, you need something that's like a single entity that can just beat on them. But in this case, you know, I'm not seeing too much. The Ancient Treeman, I suppose, could. But Vlad moving forward, his Graveguard are now advancing as well, pushing back the Wood Elf Eternal Guard. I like here that Ulrich Rahl isn't taking this fight. He's going to kind of force him to overextend a little bit, and the Wild Hunters will charge in, getting a nice little shock damage with their 67 charge bonus, and then maybe pulling back, although it looks like they're maybe going to overstay their welcome. Nope, going to be pulling back before the remnants of the Dire Pack and the Varix Reavers can get in there, and Van Hel's Dance Kebab being used here on the Varix Reavers. Looks like they're going to be committing pretty heavily to the back line, but Ulrich Rahl has been doing a very good job with his archers this game, shooting at anything that pretty much overextends. So, looking around here, the zombies are still advancing with a brick of Graveguard. Here we have Graveguard, the Sternsman. Oh, and the double Corpse Cart! How can we forget? These mighty combat machines continue to press in and cause problems. White Kings, both still pretty healthy. Nothing really threatening the White Kings. I think in the later stages of the game, we will be seeing the White Kings kind of unify here with Vlad von Karstein. The Ancient Treeman dropping a big Earthblood here on the far side. Going to be hitting Dryads as well as a couple Great Stag Knights who are running a little bit low on models. Only 13 right here, and it looks like we have 13 here as well. So the cursed unlucky number 13. Pretty interesting, though. I remember when I was doing high school sports back in 2005, everybody wanted 13 for some reason as their number. Not sure why, but you know, it is what it is. Very cool stuff. Zombies fighting here. Zombie against the Eternal Guard. Looks like a Scab Scrape attempt going down from Uncle Gant. Does do some really nice flash damage against the Eternal Guard. Also tickles the pickle of the Graveguard, but the Graveguard should still be able to win that fight. They just have much more efficient trading mechanics with that bonus versus infantry. Balance of power is still very even. I mean, this has been an extremely close game. The grinding push of the undead is tough to deal with. I think right now Uncle Gant does need to pull his forces together and unify. I think if he stays split up like this, the Great Stag Knights are going to keep finding picks, right? Right now they can bounce and hit this unit. They could bounce around here. They can then loop around, do a big 360 no-scope, and then hit the Sternsman again, just doing laps around this undead army. And I think Uncle Gant does see this and is going to be pulling in. But Ulrich Rahl getting a nice punish here on the Graveguard. He is able to finish these ones off most likely, allowing the Eternal Guard to actually have a winning fight. And Vlad is on the hunt. He's after you. Straight Duran as the Ancient Treeman does run here. Master of Beguilement putting his melee attack down to 2 for a second. But nonetheless, Vlad does get caught up on some of the Dryads here. And the archers expending the last of their ammunition. Look at this, man. Shooting into the Corpse Guards. But Corpse Guards will be giving some nice buffs. You know, not terrible, right? You're going to be getting a little bit of melee attack, some melee defense, which on these characters can be quite decent indeed. 61 zombies still going there. fighting against the Wood Elf forces. Ulrich Rahl, like I said, just doing laps around the vampire army. The vampires, much like the Skaven, are a faction that, you know, can often devolve into a blob in the later stages of the game. And it's certainly wise to do so. You have a lot of these buffs, right? You have like the corpse carts, and it looks like firepower going into the Unholy Lodestone from Ulrich, which is smart. The Unholy Lodestone, of course, does have an additional buff compared to the standard corpse cart. We can take a look and show you guys. So look at this Necromancer. He's like, screw this shit! Oh, he's like trying to ghost ride the whip here as he flips around. But we do have the Unholy Lodestone plus the Vigor Mortis, so there's a little bit of extra healing on that one, whereas this bad boy just gives the Vigor Mortis. So the White King's advancing, trying to chase down the archers. Honestly, for Uncle Gantz, you just want to ignore the archers at this point. You don't really have anything to chase them. Just keep your characters together and just fight the Great Stag Knights, and hopefully Vlad von Karstein can carry the game. And I think, just looking at this, I mean, I feel like the vampire counts are in pretty good shape. Unless there's some big slip up and like he lets his characters get isolated, because the Ancient Treeman in a vacuum can certainly beat down the White King, right? But in this case, keeping your characters together is going to be super important. So we will see. We will see. What are your predictions, guys? Balance of power is in the favor of the Wood Elves, but I feel like it's a little bit deceptive. These characters are incredibly tough to kill. I also don't know how many summons are still left for Vlad von Karstein. If he has like 1 or 2 summons left, I would 100% save those for like the epic ending of the game. That could potentially win it for you, right? We still do have a couple Eternal Guard back here. We got some archers still shooting downtown. And the Wood Elves are, yeah, Wood Elves have a lot of stuff though, guys. Now that I really zoom out and take a macro perspective on the battlefield here, you can see, man, that is a lot of hard wood. So cavalry coming in, the Wild Hunters of Kurnus surrounding Vlad, and the White Kings really need to make sure they're fighting shoulder to shoulder. Will there be a zombie summon here? Vlad appears to be getting in combat. Oh, did he just use a zombie summon? No, those are actually the ones from just a minute ago. But Vlad getting some work in on the Ancient Treeman. It looks like he's at about 5,700 right here as he continues to battle these units. The White Kings, maybe a Scab Scraith will be used. I would imagine they probably still have 1 or 2 charges left between the two of them. Although we've seen a fair amount, so maybe they have run out here. But Wood Elves are pulling ahead on the balance. But the question is, will they be able to kill Vlad von Karstein? Now at this point, we could basically just sit out, you know, enjoy your tea, enjoy your coffee. I'm sure it's early in the morning for some of you guys, you fellow Americans, and for those of you guys in the UK, you know, enjoying a little brunch in the afternoon, who knows. But here we can just sit back and watch this battle. The little bump and grind, the classic undead tank squad trying to survive the fight. And oh, you better watch out with this tree, actually. It's down to 4,700, but one White King is being escorted away from Vlad, which is very strong. Nice Scab Scraith right there. He's able to go through the archers and immediately actually leads to a terror route here on the Starfire Shafts. Vlad does cause terror now. That was changed a little bit ways back. Well, I think that was the last patch or something. I can't quite remember, but anyways, yeah, I've seen many fights like this, and honestly, a lot of people might be counting out the vampire counts right now, but don't. They can win fights like this, especially if Vlad can get in steady contact. And it really depends largely, too, on the Winds of Magic situation. If Vlad does have access to, like, Invocations and Raised Deads, and he still has a pool of magic, then it could be a very, very different fight. So the Ancient Treeman trying his best. He has been able to get one White King down to about 60 or 70%. Stag Knights charging in again, but the Stag Knights have a little bit of trouble hitting these single entities. And Vlad maybe just needs to methodically pick off great Stag Knight models. Man, a zombie summon here would be so gross right now. Yeah, look at this. The other White King is being escorted away. Oh, that's so funny. The great Stag Knights are basically grabbing the White King and dragging him into the Shadow Realm. Oh, I love it. So maybe the Ancient Treeman should disengage here. It seems like he's having a really bad time versus Vlad, and all the chaff units are being terror-routed off. Okay, that's pretty funny. Might be able to get some crumbling here. Might be able to get some crumbling here on the White King, too. Yeah, this has been a great match. Really, really solid play from both of these players. I've been enjoying it quite a bit. It's pretty neat seeing great Stag Knights, too. You don't see them terribly often. They're not a bad unit. They're just, you know, a little bit more situational. And it looks like Ulrich might be able to get the first White King here. He's at -8 leadership and good disengage. The Ancient Treeman doesn't want to be fighting Vlad. Just go after the fresh, you know, the fresh meat here. And it looks like Vlad is going to be dropping the zombie summon, so he did have one. He didn't use it on top of the Great Stag Knights, which I think might be a slight mistake. I think that would allow you to drag down several of the Great Stag Knight models, but in this case, he's going to be using it to try and support the White King here. Granted, the cavalry do just charge into the zombies anyways, and are going to be trying to bunker bust his position very, very quickly. So we will see. Vlad still fighting the good fight. Arcane Conduit is active. The Ancient Treeman marching very ponderously back into combat. Going to be trying to finish off this White King, who is periodically crumbling. It's been going back and forth. How are we looking on the Great Stag Knights? So 27 of the Wild Hunters, 12 here, and 11 here. So it seems like Vlad has been a little bit stuck in combat. just trying to fight chaff units, but terror routes should be going down any second. These units are both very low leadership. Vlad causes terror, and I think we could see that. Great Stag Knights, are they immune to psychology? Looks like the Great Stag Knights are going to be ITP, the Insane Troll Posse, as we call it here in ye old Warhammer. One White King being beaten down pretty bad. It looks like Ulrich Rahl will be clinching this game for RTK in a very, very close match. This has been an excellent one right here. And yeah, I think the Ancient Tree Man is going to be able to isolate these threats. You know, if they were standing shoulder to shoulder, Vlad would be able to respond and give the business to the Ancient Tree Man. But Ulrich did an excellent job of forcing them away from Vlad, and now just giving them the good old wrath of nature here as the trees and the Stag Knights continue to drop the tree branches on their foes. It's 4:30 in England, a little bit late for brunch. Yeah, that's true. Fair play. Although my whole perception of time and space is a little bit different with my current job here. Yeah, White Kings are pretty good. They're good units for sure. They have that beautiful Scab Scraith. They're good in combat. They're super cheap. I mean, White Kings cost next to nothing. Now it's time for Vlad. You know, the number one leading cause of death for Vlad von Karstein is army losses. You should probably look into maybe getting that checked out by a doctor here. But today, if he takes 1 or 2 more hits, he'll probably be afflicted by army losses. My favorite thing ever is when, you know, Vlad players use the von Karstein ring during army losses, just to get that like 90% ward, or whatever the ward save is. It's pretty hilarious. But yeah, Vlad's going to be going down, and game 2 is going to be going up to RTK in this clan war. So RTK currently is up 2-0 in the clan war. So we'll be switching on over to the brackets to update them in just a hot second. The 2v2 coming up next, though, is worth 2 points. So if XMT, for example, is able to win that, they will be tying up the series so far. So for Uncle Gant's army, I liked it. It was good. You know, that nice Graveguard push, all the Graveguards did pretty well for themselves, accruing over 600 value apiece. Very micro-intensive display by Ulrich. You know, he had to do a lot of work with those cavalry. It was not easy. His micro was very intense to grind down all of these very heavily armored units, right? But yeah, fun build by both players. Enjoyed it quite a bit. And now we can jump on over to ye old bracket and get this bad boy updated. So RTK is going to be going up 2-0 here in this series. But remember, a lot of games left. We have 10 matches in total, including the team games. And if we mark this as a victory here for RTK. So there you have it. Game 1 won by Kafka against Stormrunner. Game 2 won by Ulrich Rahl against Uncle Gantz. And now we have Jay Phoenix and Umais facing off against Falcon and Maximus Decimus. Now, Falcon, of course, a terrifying 1v1 player, but one of his biggest strengths also does lie in 2v2. So I'm quite excited to see what he has to conjure to maybe get XMT back in this series. But there's no easy feat. The mighty Jay Phoenix and Umais await on the other side. Champions of RTK, standing proud, shoulder to shoulder here in this fight. So let's get this going. Let's get this going. All right, so 1 second here, my friends. You can take a look at the tail of the tape for the day while we get this next match all set. GG, well played, being said by both of these fine champions. Big props to Uncle Gantz and Ulrich for the excellent match. And now let us prepare to move forward and have some good old classic fun. Yep, so you can see everything that's coming. Is there any factions that are not represented today? Let me know. I'd be quite curious. All right. So we do have the 2v2 lobby all set. And now we can go ahead and get the nameplates good to go here in a hot moment. So we're going to jump on over as we load into this match. RTK versus XMT. This is the 2v2 match. 2v2s are going to be worth 2 points in today's particular event. So we'll see if they can get back on the board here. Oh, it looks like we have a Wild Clan Angren pick. Oh, hell yeah, baby. Let's go. Let's go, man. This is going to be good. A Dwarf Mirror match in 2v2. Don't you dare put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Do not. I do not want anything to do with a Dwarf Mirror match, please. I mean, I don't mind watching mirror matches in other RTS games, but for some reason in Total War, it's just like, oh god, it's just brutal. It's very common in like Warcraft 3 and StarCraft. You see mirror matches all the time in competitive play. Yeah. So it's Jay Phoenix and Umais facing off against Falcon and Maximus Decimus. They played quite a few 2v2 tournaments together. I've seen Falcon and Maximus practice together quite a bit. So we'll see what they can do here. And of course, Jay Phoenix and Umais, both top tier players as well. I'm sure they've been scheming. They have known about this clan war for weeks upon weeks, right? So they've had time to practice and iron out some strategies. 2v2 is actually a really fun format. I think it's great. The only reason I don't cover it, I tried to combine reason and issue. in one word, and it just didn't work. But basically, the only reason I don't do more 2v2s on my channel is just because of the lag issues. It can be really punishing for sure. You know, you got 4 players plus a spectator. Things can get pretty down and dirty. Yeah, vampire counts are a good faction. They're very much like a high skill cap faction. Like if you're really new, sometimes you can struggle because you have to be able to micro your single entities and not get things sniped out. You don't have any range tools, but I think vampire counts in the hands of like top tier players are one of the scariest factions to play against. They're very, very tough. Hey, they're saying hello. Salutations. So right now we just have the screen blocker up while we get the lobby going. I can obviously see their armies right now, so I just want to make sure that the armies are not visible to all. It looks like they do have custom funds as well for the 2v2s. 10,000 gold. Wow, okay. So each player rocking a fair amount of dough here in this match. Hey, Turin, when will the new trailer be released? I don't know. We'll have to see. We will have to see. iPone Kyle, thank you for the $5 donation. Hey, Turin, are you going to watch UFC? Yes, I am. As soon as I finish this, I'm going to just plop down, get a giant hot dog, and watch some UFC. I'm honestly really interested in Volkov versus Gant. Yeah, so am I. Volkov is... It's pretty crazy. I was watching a UFC fight between Volkov and Alistair Overeem just to kind of get primed for this fight tonight. And like Alistair Overeem is like a massive man, but Volkov just like towers over him. That guy is freaking huge. It's going to be a pretty fun fight for sure. Thank you so much, Kyle, for the donation. Yeah, I've been watching quite a bit of UFC lately. I've been really getting into it. I had a pretty good fight this week too. We had the I forget. I don't remember his. Everyone just calls him by his nickname, but they call him the Korean Zombie. He had a really good fight versus Dan Ige, and that was a fun one too. Yeah, no worries. Kyle, thanks for the donation. Appreciate that. So players making some final tweaks here to their armies as we load in. And it is time. The 2v2 match is upon us. Dwarves and High Elves versus Dwarves and Bretonia. So it looks like we're going to be having a Clan Angrand as well as Carrot Kadrin, which is pretty fun. Has Turin eaten anything but sausages and hot dogs since Lady Turin went to Europe? You know, it's been a dark time. Yeah, Lady Turin is in Poland right now visiting her family. So I've fallen into disrepair. I'm sure anyone who's perhaps married can relate. But I have like a huge quarantine beard right now. Like my beard is so dirty looking. I'll do a stream sometime later in the week and show you guys. It's so bad. I have a big old mustache. I'm disheveled. My hair is long. I'm grimy. There's some days where I just walk around in my boxers all day. Yeah. No, but all jokes aside, I have been trying to eat better. I cut out sugar and I've like stopped eating a lot of different bread and things like that. So I'm trying to eat better. Yeah. I don't want to, develop health issues in my 30s here. So yeah, thank you, Kyle. Appreciate that. I fall into disrepair. It's so true. I fall apart when Lady Turin leaves. Yeah. Dude, my beard is so terrible. It is so bad. All right, looks like the RTK team is the first team to ready up here, sending a message to their opponents that they are here to stay and they are not going to be taking prisoners. Falcon and Maximus Decimus ironing out their armies here in the later stages of the game. I would imagine Falcon simply going to be coming in with Fey Enchantress and double Paladins, which is very competitive, and Maximus can bring any number of tools, but I'm curious to see who will win the artillery trade here. I mean, the Dwarves could bring artillery, so can the High Elves. I mean, everyone here can bring artillery, so is it going to be one of those kind of games, right? Trying to win the big artillery duels. Yeah, Gokfan, probably so. My beard isn't long. It's just bushy and terrible. Yeah. Yeah, Romulan for sure. I've cut out sugar completely. I didn't even eat that much to begin with, but there's like little things like every now and then if I would go to like a breakfast diner, I would end up getting like a little piece of pie or something, or like, a cinnamon roll. I'm trying to cut all that stuff out. Yeah. Dude, Walker Texas Ranger was hands down one of my favorite shows back when I was a kid. I used to watch that like every time it was on. I'd be like, oh, hell yeah, Walker Texas Ranger. I actually had a Chuck Norris poster in my room growing up for a long time. And I bought all the DVD sets of the Walker Texas Ranger every single season. I still have like a couple of them. I did lose some, but also back in the days of old, we had a video store in my hometown, which was, I grew up in Ojai, California. And there was a store called Ojai Video, and they eventually, you know, obviously before Blockbuster in the early 90s, that was where you would go to rent movies, and it was so much fun. But eventually, very sadly, they went out of business. And they basically, like all the old VHS tapes they had in there, they just had like a massive sale where they're just trying to get rid of everything. So I went in when I was like, I don't know, how old would I have been? God damn, I can't remember. I went in and bought like as many Haggard Chuck Norris movies as I could, like VHS tapes. So right over on my shelf here, I have a bunch of them. I have Missing in Action 1 and 2. I have The Octagon. I have Lone Wolf McQuaid over there. Just it's really fun. And so I have all the old Chuck Norris VHSs, which is pretty fun. It brings you back to a simpler time. You guys remember that? Like having to, it would say, the video stores would be like, oh, please rewind the VHS tapes before you return them. I mean, if you didn't do it, they would just do it at the store. But yeah, man, that was, those were the days. Magical times, man. But I think everybody looks back at, you know, the time of their youth as in like kind of this nostalgic way, right? Like it doesn't matter. I'm sure people born like in, you know, 2020 are going to be like, oh, you remember when we had this technology and that? It's the same for everyone. So, all right, no more games. Enough nostalgia. It's pretty much, I feel like every stream of mine devolves into like nostalgia discussion. Turin, do you have abs? I used to have some pretty mean ones. Right now, it's not so much. It's just kind of a normal situation. Yeah. No, I haven't actually tried to use the VHS tapes in a long time. Be kind, rewind. Yeah, there you go. May the best dwarf win. Yeah. Very cool. Yeah, glad to hear you lost all the weight and cut the sugar and you're feeling good. Hell yeah. All right, so here we are. 2v2 match. We got Jay Phoenix and Umais here. The Mountain King teaming up with Jay Phoenix and the High Elves. So looking at the forces here, we do have Longbeard. So yeah, just a kind of a combined core of dwarvish infantry. We got dwarf warriors with great weapons mixed in. Obviously, you got to bring the great weapons. You're fighting against both dwarves and Bretonnia, both of whom can field a fair amount of armor, right? So bringing the dwarf warrior great weapons is good. Backed up by White Lions. We got Lothern Seaguard, basic archers, a couple Thunder teams, and it looks like Althar's Raiders. So this build is very, very solid in terms of just pushing. Not really going to be trying to play the artillery game, rather moving up, which I think is smart because typically every time I've seen Falcon play in these 2v2 matches with Bretonnia, usually there's a ton of field trebuchets. So trying to, you know, trade that artillery game is a little bit of a dice roll. Whereas if your build is just designed to advance on your opponent and pressure them, I think you're going to have a better time. So here we do have the push coming in. It's going to be a Rune Lord backed up here by Teclis. Okay, Teclis has nets and enfeebling foe. So for the armies of XMT, XMT is down a couple games here in this clan war right now. Currently, RTK is up 2-0, but for XMT, they need to win this game. Certainly very important for getting some momentum back on the board. It is going to be peasant mobs into the sunset, backed up by dwarf warriors, Fey Enchantress, and double paladins. So that's how you know Falcon is here to win. He is not messing around. Ungrim, Iron Fist, and Gotrek for the characters. Single entity goon squads are very important in 2v2s, especially with the Fey Enchantress and the healing. And it looks like they're all foot-based. Yeah, so they're just going to be moving around, basically in a big blob, just trying to bump and grind here. We got field trebuchets in the back. Looks like there are going to be 4 of those in total. Field trebuchets will be quite devastating here, considering that the forces of RTK don't have any way of shutting them down efficiently. They can try and get reavers back there, but there are questing knights and spears. With proper control, those trebuchets should be able to use their ammunition over the course of this game. So there you have it. No memes here from XMT. This is straight business. So, you know what? I'm a little bit shocked. We haven't seen a single meme from XMT all day. Everything we've seen has been pretty solid and competitive so far. So it looks like, you know, they're here to win, man. They're giving it their all. Romulan Dog says, Turn, I'm closing in on a full 6-pack for the Siggy cosplay. Too hot right now. Right on, man. Right on. Yeah, hell yeah. Optimus Pine. That's pretty good. Yeah, we do have some of those here on the channel. All right. 1670 here for the forces of the High Elves and Dwarves and the Bretonnian army. To no surprise, bigger by about 500 souls, but it is mostly going to be filthy peasant mobs, so do they really count? Who knows? We'll find out here in the next episode. So both players saying good luck, have fun. A big battle here in this clan war. This is going to be a huge one, especially for XMT. They need to get back on the board here. You know, they're down 0-2, and going down to a 4-0 lead with only 10 matches on the run. Granted, the 3v3 match will be worth 3 points. That is a very big, important one. But going down 4-0, like I said, is going to be pretty rough. What psychological effect will it have on the champions if they do fall behind? We will see. I don't actually know who the clan leader of XMT is. I know it's gone through a couple renditions over the years, but perhaps somebody in chat can answer who is the tyrant of XMT, the meme lord. Yeah. We already established today we're in the extreme meta tryhards. That's the extreme meta tryhards. I like that. That's pretty fun play on their name. Thank you so much. Oh my god, that is a huge donation. God, and I always feel bad because I always forget how to read your name. I used to actually be able to read hiragana and katakana, but no longer I can. Dude, thank you so much. I think that's like over $100. I hope your wrist operation went well. It did. My wrist is better. I can actually play now, which means in this next week, we're going to be getting back to Warcraft 3 streams, all sorts of stuff. Anyways, whichever dwarf wins, that's the one more entry in the Book of Grudges. Yeah, either Angren or Carrot Kadrin will be in the book today, so we'll see how it goes. Thank you so much for that donation. Really appreciate that. That is huge, man. Arigato for the donation. Genki desu ka, hope you're doing well. And yeah, man, let's do it. Let's party. So the RTK forces are going to be advancing here on the XMT defensive lines. Trebuchet fire shooting in, immediately going after the white lines of Krace. The white lines will probably be a high priority target in tandem with the Thunderers. Thunderers, I think, are a very big target as well. And of course, RTK not having the artillery advantage is going to be having to advance here. I'm really curious to see if Teclis is going to do the net fiery convocation combo. Like, for example, if you overcasted a net right here on top of Falcon's archers, and it would hit basically all three of these units, and then you could drop a fiery convo, which would one-shot two archer units. It's actually an ability that I think is relatively underrated, so we'll see how this unfolds. So firepower coming in from the Peasant Bowmen, back and forth they go. You can see Teclis juking those shots like an absolute champion, and right now Falcon is moving up the Paladin and the Enchantress. This is very common. Basically what you do is you get your little goon squad, you move up, you Mortis Engine, and in 2v2s it becomes even worse, because now you have dwarf characters in your death blob, and on top of that the dwarf characters can be healed. So very strong stuff indeed. So there they go, Peasant Bowman fire shooting into the archers of the High Elves, just kind of trading back and forth. The High Elf archers, I think, have a little bit of a range advantage, but the Peasant Bowmen able to kind of close that gap very quickly. It looks like there's going to be a net going down. Yeah, a single target net or something. Okay, the Enchantress has been netted down, and now she's going to be getting focused. Now, she probably will survive this, no problem. Marked by Althar as well. Earthblood going down. Thunderer Fire shooting into the Enchantress, doing some work, but you could see she's got like a really weird hitbox. And that's the reason why the Enchantress is so good. She's constantly floating up and down with her attack animations, bobbing side to side. So even with a net and all that focus fire, the Enchantress barely takes any damage, which is actually a very devastating start here for the forces of the High Elves and the Dwarves. Like this blob of characters is going to be so goddamn difficult to take out. So it looks like in the back, Enchantress still taking a bit of focus fire. I think it is a good idea to try and remove the Enchantress early, because that Mortis Engine over the course of a really long game is going to be super devastating. So it looks like Maximus and Falcon do call for a pullback right now, so they're going to be retreating their forces. In the meantime, the field trebuchet still bombarding quite happily. We do have all four of them just massive damage into the White Lions here. And they should switch on to the Thunder teams if they have not. And it looks like the Thunderers are getting a little bit beat up here. Yeah, Trebuchets are going after the Thunderers and the White Lions. Just looking at the battlefield overall, I feel like the Trebuchets are going to be a big deciding factor. There's so many elements in this army here for the High Elves and the Dwarves, a bit of an ancient alliance of sorts, because back in the day in Warhammer Fantasy lore, the High Elves and the Dwarves used to be like homies. They used to be really close, and until the War of Vengeance, or the War of the Beard as it's called. So here's what I was talking about. Check this out. So fiery combo coming down. Beautiful play here by the RTK team. Really nice, roasting those two peasant archers. That's what I was talking about with Teclis. However, I think the Trebuchet kind of consistent volume of fire is really doing some devastating damage. And the single entity advantage here for Falcon and Maximus, I think, is really starting to pay huge dividends. Like, nothing back here is super effective against these characters. Slayers might be able to put a dent in them, especially against the Paladins, I suppose. We'll see. So Slayers do get in there and trap up Gotrek and Ungram, so we got a little bit of a Slayer on Slayer battle here, as the Slayers do start to take some big casualties, but they don't really care about it. I mean, at least the Slayers here can occupy these forces for a period of time. Delicious water, by the way. I got some sparkling water. That's the stuff. So Trebuchet is still shooting. A little bit of pressure in the backfield. The High Elves have gotten back here with some Reavers, as well as the Dragonback Slayers, but it looks like the Questing Knights and Spearmen should be able to kind of plug the gap here and hold them at bay. We got Dragonback Slayers moving up and around. Not sure where they're going. It looks like they might be hunting some archers, but honestly, taking the Dragonback Slayers and pushing up into the Trebuchets here probably would be the right choice. Peasant mobs do engage against the Slayers, might be able to distract them for a period of time. Talk about some brave peasants. I mean, realistically, just think of like a mob of untrained peasants with like farm equipment charging into battle against you know, just these massive stocky Slayers with battle axes, right? Yeah, I don't know how that would actually go down. Hard to say, though. I mean, I suppose the peasants are, you know, a little bit fanatical about the lady as well. Not as much as, like, you know, some of the more elite Bretonnians, but we will see. So the artillery positions for XMT still very much in good shape. We have 3 trebuchets, all of which have expended over 50% of their ammunition. The Fey Enchantress has pulled back here, lending her more dissension to this fight, allowing her peasant mobs to trade upward against the Longbeards, which they normally would have no chance against, right? Dragonback Slayers cutting apart the peasant mobs. You can see an absolute massacre here in this situation as these power beards do continue to cut through the peasant mobs. And it might open up the backfield as well. Granted, there are some questing knights from Falcon here. It looks like they really want to charge into the Slayers, but of course, you know, a little bit of a dangerous situation as the Dragonback Slayers do have that juicy slowing mechanic. In the backfield here for RTK, you can see very much a scattered situation. They are being pushed back by the double Paladins, Gotrek, as well as Ungrim Iron Fist. And yeah, it seems like XMT here is going to be in a bit of a state of advantage. I think they are winning many of the engagements. The Dragonback Slayers are, you know, a very cool unit, but they're going to get worn down by a Mortis engine at some point. And they are attempting to push into the back line right now, but are going to be taking some cycle charging, which will still do damage against them, but if Falcon leaves those questing knights in combat, he will be paying the troll toll. But yeah, of course it's Falcon. I should expect him to have good cavalry micro. He pulls back, but a nice net of damage talk going down. And check this out. Oh my god, another fiery convocation. Here it comes from Teclis trying to get back in this game here. And this might actually do some good damage. It looks like Falcon is a little bit busy elsewhere. So the fiery convocation does absolutely roast those peasants. And that actually takes out 1 or 2 questing knights on impact. So that was a very good info right there. As the white lines of Krace continue pushing up, the peasant archer lines of Falcon have been heavily damaged. And the Dragback Slayers stuck in combat here for them. Unfortunately, against the Spearmen at arms. Really need to get on the cavalry, get on the trebuchets that have probably accrued over 800 value apiece. I would imagine that it's going to be some solid value. In the backfield, we do have some desperate micro here from the forces of RTK trying to pull back and form a Thunderer concave, which is probably their best bet. And they kind of have. Umais has done a good job here separating these forces, and J Phoenix has also done an excellent job with those fiery convocations and the Teclis pressure. But the Paladins, Gotrek, and Ungrim are just these relentless forces, and they're certainly quite terrifying. And now we do see a Bretonnian cavalry unit come from nowhere. It looks like they maybe maneuvered from the other side of the battlefield, and that should be the straw that breaks the Angrins back. I think those Thunder teams, not Thunder teams, but the Questing Knights should be able to effectively chase down the Thunderers and just pretty much shut down what little hope they have here. I mean, the High Elves have some Lothern Sea Guard. The Mage of Metal here is pretty much gone. As far as the rest of the battle goes, I'm seeing a lot of Bretonnia on the battlefield. I'm seeing a fair amount of Clan Angrind. The Dragonback Slayer, not Clan Angrind, excuse me, Carrot Kadrin. And yeah, it looks like Bretonnia just completely able to stabilize back here. And the big problem is if Bretonnia does stabilize back here, the Trebuchets still have a fair amount of ammunition. You can see a couple of the Trebuchet teams are rocking ample ammo, right? Right here we have good ammo. These ones are still functional. These guys have at least 5 or 6 shots left, I would imagine. Yeah, it looks like they have 6. So they're going to be able to really punish anything that does survive over here. And then, you know, what's left of the RTK forces will have to march on the XMT Trebuchet position, and that is just going to be an absolute disaster of a situation. And not to mention the single entities, right? Like, what in this army can actually deal with Gotrek, Ungrim, and the 2 Paladins? In my experience, practicing 2v2s with Falcon and playing against him, he pretty much always will use, him and his teammates will use, you know, a lot of single entities in a blob, and they'll move together, and it's very, very tough to bring them down unless you tech against it. You can, of course, snipe them out, but the Fey Enchantress on foot is extremely tough to snipe. Like I said, she's got that really weird hitbox, a very small target. If she was on the Unicorn, the Fey Enchantress probably would have died earlier. She would have died to that focus fire, but the fact that she was on foot made her much tougher to snipe, which I think is good. I think foot characters should be harder to snipe. I think you need to have some benefits for that, but the Fey Enchantress, more so than other characters, is very, very tough to bring down in that way. Thunderers can do it, but bows typically struggle to really focus down foot-based characters. So army losses might be kicking in soon-ish. Here you can see Teclis and the White Lions trying to push, but the Questing Knights of Bretonnia have been showing some excellent micro this game as they rally the Clan Angrin pursuers here. These Longbeards are going to be put in the trash can. And here we do have some White Lines of Krace hunting down the Trebuchet crews. Certainly a good call here from J Phoenix. However, I think it's not going to be enough, as the Fey Enchantress and the Spearmen at Arms should be able to save these Trebuchets. And Falcon just putting on a masterclass of Bretonnian kiting here as he gets the crossfire coming in from the archers. Looks like the Questing Knights may be deciding to engage against Teclis. Teclis going to be retreating now, only 60 speed against 75. But when the poison wears off, Teclis should be able to get away in this situation. Yeah, you can see Teclis here is running for the hills. 2v2s generally have these situations, but look at this. A massive wall of Karak Kadrin as well as Bretonnia pulling back, and there is nothing to be seen of Angrand and the High Elves on the battlefield. GG, well played! And XMT is back on the board. The 2v2, getting them the solid 2 points which they need to tie up this this Clan War series. GG. Well played. All right. That was certainly a fun one. Great match indeed. Let's go ahead and take some topical looks at value. Teclis with 1100 value from his fiery convocations. White Lions tried their best. But yeah, the artillery advantage for the Bretonians was really nasty. I like the armies for sure, and I like the idea, the whole principle of just kind of rushing with a lot of width, you know, a lot of things that are good against cavalry, guns, and bows. But in the end, the peasant mobs and the mortis engines and the single entity and the artillery play from the XMT team was very, very strong, and I think that was too much for them to handle. GG, well played. So, in today's Clan War, we are watching a tied-up series. It's going to be 2-2 as the 2v2 does count for more points. So let's go ahead and adjust that 2 to actually fit. Looks good to me. And Falcon and Maximus Decimus will be claiming victory here, and we will fill in the score so you guys can see who is winning this match. And of course, we have the great Vicious Satsuma filling in the winners on the other side of the bracket, although I don't think we can see that on the screen. All right, all right. So next up, we have Vicious Satsuma versus the Gabo Slayer. We have Greenskins versus Lizardmen. Should be great. How you guys doing, by the way? Life treating you all well? Hope everyone in chat is doing their thing. All right. Very cool match. Certainly enjoyed that one. I always love me a good 2v2. So let's find the next match here. Hopefully they're on my friends list so I can see the dreaded lobby. Give it to me, precious. All right. 1, 2, 3. There we go. All right. So, my friends, we got a 2-2 Clan War today. We have Vicious Satsuma on the Greenskins facing off against the Gabo Slayer on the Lizardmen. Remember, we still are in the patch where the Greenskins are a very dominant faction, but I think if anyone does have a good chance against them, it's going to be the Lizardmen. The Lizardmen also have a very good win rate. I think it's like 56, 57% in the World Championships. Great performance there. Great performance. Joseph Corva says, I'm dying to see what an Everchosen looks like on Warhammer 3 with Kislev Cathay and all the demonic boys. Yeah. Hey, Hassar, I'm glad to hear that. This game is making folding laundry much more fun. Hey, you know, glad to hear that, Melody. Glad to hear that. Yeah, folding laundry is never fun. It is never a good time. So Nate Garrett asking, chat, what was the worst job you all had growing up? Mine was Chuck E. Cheese. Holy shit, Nate. I bet you have some good stories about that. I remember going to Chuck E. Cheese when I was a kid, and I can only imagine the gnarly stuff that the Chuck E. Cheese employees had to deal with. Like behind the scenes. You know? Now, Nate, let me ask you this. Did you actually have to were you just like kind of a general employee at Chuck E. Cheese, or were you the big Chungus employee and you had to wear the rat costume? Did you have to dress up like Chuck E. Cheese and like dance around and, you know, greet everybody? Yeah. Dude, that's pretty magical for sure. That's like something that's like truly a generational experience. Although Chuck E. Cheese still exists, actually. There's one like 3 blocks from my house. We have a Chuck E. Cheese. Yeah, and it's still, you know, I don't know if it's still around after the lockdown and everything, but yeah. Oh, Gokthim, I would imagine that stuff. Trying to write your own 40K story. Very cool. All right, so we're here in the next match. We're doing it. It's not my birthday yet. My birthday is actually very soon. It's going to be July 12th, so a couple weeks I'll be turning 33. Oh, yeah, the good old 33, baby. All right, so let's go ahead and load in to the good old Clan War screen. Just making sure I'm not missing any messages here. And we can just hang tight and go back here and check this out so you guys can see the matches while we wait. Maybe put 2 green boxes. Well, you can see the scores up in the top left and right for RTK versus XMT. So, yeah, you can see the overall score. I know it's a little bit confusing. I could have prepared a little bit better in that respect. Nate Garrett says, working at Chuck E. Cheese was horrific. Oh, so everybody has to end up in the Chuck E. suit at some point, you're saying. Oh, shit, okay. Nate was saying it's horrific. It smells like a bunch of foul substances. Stale cigarettes, puke. Oh, my God. Yeah, man. What's your opinion on Bretonnia in 1v1? Bretonnia, I think, is a top-tier faction. I think in the hands of good players, they're very, very strong. Yeah. 33 is as old as Jesus. Yeah. Certainly feels like it. I'm a third of the way to 100. I wonder if I'll live to 100. Probably not. My family doesn't. The men in my family don't have the best runs. Yeah. So my mom's dad lived to be 80. Then my grandpa on my dad's side lived to be 50, unfortunately. Yeah. So we'll see how it goes. Shot. Enjoy the youth. I am 36 and your buttocks hurt from taking a walk yesterday. I'm pretty out of shape right now too. I need to get back in shape. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. You know, I want to see the future though. You know, I know I've talked to a fair amount of people about this. Usually it's like one of those conversations you have over like coffee, you know, where you're talking about futurism and all that stuff like that. But I really want to see. I want to see the future. I want to see like 200 years from now. I want to see what kind of shit's going on, you know? I want to see, 1,000 years from now. Like that to me is like the most interesting shit ever. I want to explore the stars, you know. I want to go, I want to be on the Enterprise. I want to go explore the great beyond. You know, but it's a shame, of course, in this life it's not going to happen, but yeah. I would love to experience all that. Like part of me is like, if I'm an old man and they have a technology to like freeze me and wake me up like 1,000 years from now, if that actually like becomes a thing, I'm like, maybe I'll do it. Shit. Like, yeah, I just want to see the future. Like, it's so interesting to me. I love science fiction, and even if it is a dystopian science fiction, I still want to see it because to me that's still interesting. It's just like, yeah. Why do you want to see the post-apocalypse? I would be interested in seeing it. I'm just curious how, if it does become an apocalypse, I'm curious how it'll happen. Battle Tutorial, thank you for the fiber. 2 things, man. Beards are cool. And over lockdown, I went from a gnarly 6-pack to a comfortable keg. Just working on my Thorgrim cosplay. There you go. See, Battle Tutorial knows how to live. I'm close. I don't have a keg, but it's like, it's getting to the point where it could be one if I lose control. If I like kept eating like I was eating, we could be in a downward spiral here. Yeah. Thank you so much, Battle Tutorial, for the donation. And Estrella Gamer. G'day, I'm an Aussie and usually sleep when you stream, about to hit the hay, but love the content. Thanks to you, I participated in the Warhammer World Cup in Lotus's Moons group and got annihilated. You're a ripper, mate. Hey, glad to hear that, man. There's no shame in losing to Lotus Moon. He is a mighty tyrant and a very good player, so props to you, man. Get some rest, and I'll have some Warcraft 3 streams for you in Australian-friendly hours this week. So, cheers. Appreciate that. All right. Oh, you're 10 minutes behind. No worries. Yeah, no worries. They'll wake up Turin and feed him to the zombies. Hey, man. Whatever. It is what it is. So you're 32 and would like to go to space and wanted to go explore the stars. I really do understand the feeling. I even considered volunteering for the Mars mission. Oh, shit, man. Very cool. Yeah, I just want to see what's out there, I'm sure a lot of people share that sentiment. I mean, that's been like something that humans have probably felt since the dawn of time, right? Like what's beyond your borders? What's beyond your skyline, There's so much. Yeah. Do you think Amazons will be in the new DLC? No, I don't think so. No. I don't see Amazons being a faction we get. I would be pretty shocked for that, so it looks like we had a bit of a switch up. We had Felcon replacing the XMT member. So Gabo Slayer appears to not be playing. So Felcon is going to be coming in with Lizardmen. So the steel chair substitute. So let's go ahead and get this. We got Felcon on one side versus Satsuma on the other. So let's go ahead and get the nameplates all set. We'll update this. And let's get this party started, man. No more games. So the match will be going here in just a hot second. And we'll do it. We will do it. I'd rather know what's in our oceans and inside our Earth. Oh, yeah. All that stuff's interesting, too, for sure. Like, the ocean has barely been explored, right? I think there's, like, some crazy statistic about, like, only a small percentage has been explored, so. The pinch hitter, yes, Felcon has appeared from the shadows to take on the vicious Satsuma. We will see if he can dismantle the greenskin threat. giving XMT a lead here in this fight, or if the Satsuma, the Dark Lord of Greenskins, who's won faction wars with Greenskins and single faction tournaments, will be able to pull ahead for his clan. Yeah. We'll do it. We'll do it, man. Would you want to live in the future even as a brain in a jar like Futurama? No, probably not. I would definitely not be interested in being a brain in a jar. However, if we could come up with a compromise where I could be like a cyborg, where my brain could be like implanted into like a mechanical body, I would probably be down for that. You know, like way. If I got to like, you know, live and experience the future and see everything, like, yeah, then we're talking. But no, definitely not brain in a jar. No, not interested. All right. Space Ghost, Coast to Coast. Oh my God. Remember that show? God, Space Ghost. Man, that brings me back. Holy shit. What was that on? Was that on Adult Swim? Yeah, I think it was. No, but we're talking about a brain in a jar. So like you're a static jar sitting on a shelf and you're a brain in said jar. That's what they're referring to. Of course, like, yeah, my brain's in the skull now, but I can move, I can function, I can touch, I can feel, I can experience all these things. But, you know, being a brain in a jar is a very different thing. Yeah. What about a mechanical spider? Oh, I hate spiders. Oh, man, I really hate spiders. So I don't know if I could do that. I don't know. Preserve your mind so you can cast Total War Warhammer 37 for the masses. Oh, man. Yeah, that's pretty wild. So here we go. It is time, baby. Let's have some fun. D. Willow. Thank you for the donation, D3 Willow. Hey, Turin, getting surgery on my shoulder soon. I feel your pain. Hey, yeah, just take it easy and make sure to go to your physical therapy. Don't be a bad patient. I've made that mistake in the past. Good luck with your surgery, and thank you so much for the donation. We shall endure, brother, as Sigmar did. So for the forces here of the Greenskins and the Vicious Satsuma, he is going to be coming in with a very standard army. Goblins in the front, backed up by Orc Boys. We have the Goblin Great Shaman, a really good sniping character, and does also have, the anti-large for the melee combat versus the big dinos. So we have the double big Chungus duel. We have Lord Mazdamundi battling here against the Goblin Great Shaman. And a bunch of spiders with double Doomdiver Catapult. Okay, we're going Doom Diving, baby. This is very interesting. All right. I like it. And a bunch of Spider Riders, of course. Greenskin Skirmishers, hands down the most cost-effective in the entire game. And now for the forces of the Dark Lord Felcon, he's going to be coming in with Lord Chungus, Big Mazdamundi with Nets of Amatok, Harmonic Convergence, and Apotheosis. We got a bunch of Saurus Warriors, Javelins, or cohorts, I should say. And we got Pterodons up in the sky and a single solar engine as well with a big vanguard of Chameleon Skinks. Skinks very good. They can deal with the Greenskin Skirmishers, and they can also focus down things like Hags, Biggins, Savage Orcs, you name it. The Chameleon Skinks are hands down the best unit on the Lizardman roster, in my opinion. Very, very disruptive, very annoying. And that is that. So we'll see how this goes. What are the Doomdiver Catapults going to be targeting? I would imagine they'll probably just sit on top of one of the big dinos. It could be Mazdamundi, it could be the Bastillodon with the solar engine. But no, it actually looks like the Doomdiver Catapults are being used to go after the Pterodon Riders here. So check it out. 8 models. Here he comes, the drift. Oh, man, the juke from the Pterodons just barely dodging that Doomdiver Catapult. Here comes another one. Looks like a Spirit Leech going down as well. So Satsuma really targeting down the Pterodon Riders early. Perhaps doing that to make sure he doesn't get disrupted on the Doomdiver Catapults. Falcon responds with an Apotheosis, but it looks like some Pterodon Riders are going to be losing models, or at least a model. The Solar Engine going to be shooting its first shots here into the Great Shaman, while the Doomdiver Catapults have switched their focus fire onto Mazdamundi. So perhaps the Satsuma just used his initial volleys on top of the Pterodon Riders to force out the Apotheosis. And from there, he switches his damage here onto Lord Mazdamundi. Brain Buster going down, but a little bit of a miss by Satsuma. And very unusual. He almost always hits that in my experience, but that one was a miss here. And Falcon just getting a little bit of skirmishing with the Chameleon Skinks, and they seem to be doing pretty well. Shooting into the Goblin Wolf Riders, which are now going to be forced to pull back. Damn Chameleon Skinks, so annoying. Like, I really dislike Greenskin Skirmishers. Like, I hate them, but I also really dislike Chameleon Skinks. So it's putting me in a weird place where I don't know who to root for in this particular flank engagement here. Saurus Warriors getting ready to pile in. Saurus should be able to take their big cudgels and clubs and give the dirty to these goblins. Pretty bad in combat. And you can see the cohorts are falling back, being used most likely on the flanks to support. while Mazda Mundi and the Saurus Warriors do the heavy lifting here against the Orc Boys. But it looks like the Chameleon Skinks able to win their engagements even against the Goblins. Goblins should be worn down just through sheer attrition. Saurus Warriors grinding in the front line. In the backfield, we do get some skink cohorts with javelins, using their javelin ammunition actually to pepper down the Doomdiver catapults. Falcon very aggressively trying to use his Pterodon Riders to perhaps come drop some rocks here, or attack in melee. Looks like Satsuma has pulled the Orc Boys back. Are these Fire Leech Pterodons? No, they're not. But yeah, nonetheless, they're shooting into the Doomdivers. Should be able to finish them off. Nice rock drop right there. Will indeed be breaking the crew. So one Doomdiver catapult is offline. The other one's still functional. But the Bastiladon with the Solar Engine actually takes out 2 of the Doomdiver catapults. Very nice. So the whole Doomdiver situation is more or less offline right now, right? The Chameleon Skinks are healthy. Honestly, this game is looking pretty good for the Lizards here in the early stages. Doomdiver catapults are not cheap pieces of equipment. They cost 900 gold apiece. Falcon is also getting very cost-effective Solar Engine fire here into the giant River Troll Hag, who's being worn down, and you can see that the Saurus Warriors are moving forward with 74 models, backed up here by the Skink cohorts, and Mazda Mundi going for the Kaiju fight. Don't even try it, used by the Goblin, but Mazda Mundi is here to stay. He is thick, he is proud, and this Goblin Great Shaman is, going to be getting a Royal Rumble here. However, Greenskins are very good at this. Their characters are quite nasty. The giant River Troll Hag engages with her sack of meat. The Wa going down, Scroll of Shielding. This is going to be giving Satsuma a decent advantage here in many respects. However, that Solar Engine really doing an excellent job grinding into the giant River Troll Hag. Those fire shots doing big damage. The Crown of Command being used here by Vicious Satsuma. Amazing micro. That Hag would have probably 100% broken if not for the Crown of Command, which will be wearing off here in a couple seconds. So, yeah, long duration on the Crown of Command. Holy shit, it's keeping that Hag in the fight. Mazda Mundi seems to be dominating. In the backfield, Falcon getting his Pterodon Riders and shutting down the Doomdiver catapults. Chameleon Skinks being very disruptive on the flanks, owning the Greenskin skirmishers in combat. And as far as this blob fight goes, it looks like the Greenskins are going to be losing it, actually, as Mazda Mundi does run down the giant River Troll Hag. And the Goblin Great Shaman is most likely going to break here as well. And I think when the Goblin Great Shaman breaks, I think that the Dark Lord Falcon probably will be seizing this game. More Solar Engine shots coming in. Giant River Troll Hag going to be breaking away. I think Falcon probably will be able to get Chameleon Skinks and chase down the giant River Troll Hag. We will see. And Mazda Mundi now bouncing over, going after the Orc Shaman. And doing his thing, man. So here he comes, raising up his mighty Potbelly with Harmonic Convergence. And you can see the Orc Shaman here being dunked on in combat. Even though Mazda is an anti-infantry monster, he's still pretty good at battling single entities with his magic support, Harmonic Convergence, healing, and of course his missile attacks do apply poison. And that is GG. So, the Greenskins are going to be defeated, and Falcon of XMT is going to be claiming victory here and giving his clan the lead here in this battle. Very well played. Certainly a very interesting match there. And here we go, man. Life's good. Solid matches between these players. And I don't see any way the Greenskins can come back at this point. A couple Doomdiver crews trying to rally here, but Falcon is going to be clinching down on them here with his Pterodons, shooting the poison darts at the Doomdiver crews. He still has a ton of Chameleon Skinks with a lot of ammunition, actually. And Mazda Mundi is on the hunt. Net being dropped here on the Goblin Great Shaman as the two big monsters battle it out. Is this spider fighting back even when it's broken? No, it's not. It is! No way, the spider is fighting back. Yeah, it looks like it's attacking Mazda Mundi while it's netted. Interesting. Okay, I'd never seen that interaction before. Usually you'd think like a netted unit would keep trying to run, but it actually looked like it turned and fought him. Do my eyes deceive me? Did you guys see that as well? Yeah, crazy stuff. GG, well played. I mean, okay, the Doomdiver catapults getting shut down was huge. That was really big. The Chameleon Skinks dominated the skirmish game. The Solar Engine killed the Hag, and Mazda Mundi got the favorable engagements, accruing over 2,000 value. So yeah, it was a good build on both players' part for sure, but the Doomdivers didn't seem to work out too well. Yeah, 189 value. One of them did get almost 1,000 value, so at least it paid for itself. But yeah, GG, well played. Not enough Spider Riders. Well, I guess there's about as many as you can bring here. But, you know, that was a good match. Well played to both players, to Satsuma and the Dark Lord Falcon. And now we can go ahead and jump on over. Update the brackets here. So, this is going to be Falcon here winning this match, giving the lead to his clan. Up in the top left, XMT will be going up 3-2. Yeah, that was weird, wasn't it? All right, so we got a question from One King Downturn. Do you have any more plans for head-to-head campaigns? Yes, I do. I do. 100%. Yeah, I'll be getting back to those as soon as the new DLC comes out. Yeah. Do you speak any other languages? Not fluently, but I do know some basic conversational Japanese, and I know a couple words in Polish because my wife is Polish. So yes. That was that. Yeah, that was interesting. I mean, I know netted units can attack in general, but it was broken, so I wouldn't have expected it to be able to attack there. So something to think about. All right, so getting into the next battle here, let's go ahead and see what's up next on ye old list. We have another 2v2, so it's going to be Happy Puppy and Valkanos with the Tomb Kings and Vampire Counts taking on Poison Ducky and Katam, Tomb Kings and Norska. Pretty fun. Can you dig it? All right, so let's do it, man. Let's have some fun. It's been a great day so far. Getting into the match. And here we go. And yes, Josh, I will be watching the UFC today. I'd probably put my money on Volkov. Yeah, Volkov's a pretty scary dude. If I was a betting man, although I'd probably not be the best at that. But let's see who is on which side. So we have RTK on the left, XMT on the right. RTK versus XMT. Let's update this. Boom. Now, my friends, we're just hanging out, enjoying each other's company while we get this next match prepared. So we're 4 matches in. We have another 6 matches in total. So we will see who wins the clan war in the end. So Turin is a weeb that learned some Japanese. No. It's actually in my high school. We had a couple choices. We had Spanish and Japanese and Latin. And for some reason, I was really terrible at Spanish growing up. Like I could never roll my R's very well. So basically, I just decided to do Japanese. Yeah. Yeah, it was fun. Turin knows phrases like yes, dear, of course, dear in Polish. Oh no, you'd be quite surprised at the phrases I know. Yeah, it's a fun time. All right, so we got both sides here. Valkanos and Happy Puppy against Poison Ducky and Katam. The die is cast. The battle soon to be upon us as the forces of the undead go to take on the other forces of the undead who happen to have some barbarians with them. Yeah. Turin, any thoughts on a video about proper campaign multiplayer for Warhammer 3? Yeah, I'll do something. It's not, I haven't done it yet. I've been kind of busy with some other stuff, but yeah. Yeah. Legorg, dude, it's a tough one to call, man. I could be completely wrong about that UFC fight. Melody saying I learned Mandarin because in high school my crush was taking that class, ended up getting a degree in it. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, that's a hard language. I actually took, so when I was in college, I did take a couple weeks of a class. Yeah, trying to learn. I can't remember what dialect it was, but yeah, Chinese, and it's super difficult. Super difficult. I felt like Japanese was way easier to learn, but that was just me. Thoughts on Warhammer TV coming out? I have no idea. I haven't really looked into it, so yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I saw that they were going to be having like battle reports on there, which kind of I love battle reports that have high production quality. Like I really enjoy, if you guys haven't seen the channel, it's really great. Tabletop Titans, they do such a good job. I think they're in California as well, I'm not sure. But yeah, I love their live battle reports. I was watching the one they did, they started doing Age of Sigmar too, which I've been painting up my Age of Sigmar army, which is basically my old Empire Fantasy army. Right behind me, I have a Celestial Huracanum that I'm working on, which is such a cool model. Man, I love it. Yeah, so I painted up a couple state troopers last night for my Empire army and tabletop, and the crew's all coming together. The crew's all coming together, but Tabletop Titan's an amazing channel. Play on Tabletop's really good too. Like I love those. Yeah. Oh yeah, the Titans are great. I was watching the Be'lakor game where they had Be'lakor versus the Lizardmen, which was pretty cool. Yeah, Gallahan, it could still happen someday. If he's interested, he could hit me up for it for sure. Yeah, 40K in 40 minutes. Yeah, I hear you. So Southern Chaos Waste is here. It is the map. It's going to be fairly open field. Legorg, yeah, I've seen it. Mm-hmm. All right, so let's do it. Let's load into the battle. Let's have some fun. Thank you all for joining, by the way. We have RTK versus XMT here in this 2v2 match. So again, it's going to be Valkanos. If you guys haven't seen Valkanos' YouTube channel, He does do regular multiplayer content and is a great guy for sure. Had a ton of great coverage of the Warhammer World Championship. And of course, Happy Puppy. I believe she streams on Twitch and has a YouTube channel as well. So if anybody has links to those channels for Valkanos and Happy Puppy, please feel free to drop any links you'd like. And yes, so let's go ahead and take a look at the armies. This is the classic undead formation, right? Basically, you get Tomb Kings who now, like Cetra, yeah, normally Cetra can't heal, right? He's still very powerful and tanky for a chariot character with almost 6,000 HP. But with Invocation, you can heal Cetra, which is so good. It is so goddamn good. So yeah, just Ushabti Great Bows with, you know, skeletons and spears and zombies. We have a couple Horse Archers. We do also have White Kings in the backfield, as well as Isabella von Karstein. Ooh, Isabella is really nice in the 2v2. That extra healing for the Blood Chalice of Bathorai. Oh, that is really sexy for sure. Yeah, I watch Tabletop Tactics. Yeah, Tabletop Tactics, I watched them a lot. One of the guys I really like to watch on that channel just left, though, which bummed me out. The guy named, I think they called him Bone. Yeah, he just left the channel, which made me pretty sad. All right, for the forces of XMT, we got Wulfric. Oh, they're styling here. They're flexing. What is this? Is this okay? It looks like they're writing something. They're trying to write something with their formation. We'll see what happens. Turin, Poison Ducky asked that Druid Sandstorm be in the theme music of this game. I wish, but it would get my stream shut down because it's copyrighted. I would totally do that if this was 2010. All right, so we do have Wulfric the Wanderer plus Shaman Sorcerer of Fire. We got an Ushabti Rush. So yeah, it looks like a Tomb King's Rush of sorts. Only one Great Bow for Poison Ducky, Grand Hierophant Kotep, and Wulfric. And yeah, so we got a Rush build with Norska, Ushabti, and Chariots rushing into a defensive Undead build, which is very strange. Valkanos does have some Blood Knights in the back as well. And that appears to be it. So let's do it to it. Yeah, 2v2 is getting a little bit strange for sure with the mirror matches, but they were blind picks, so the players did not know what the other sides were going to be picking. You guys can all put on Sandstorm for yourselves if you want to have that theme music while Kotep drops some sick Darude beats. Some DJ Tiesto. Remember that from the 90s? Yeah. I guess that was more like early 2000s. Was Tiesto doing his thing in the 90s? I can't remember. I cannot remember. It has been many moons indeed. So the battle soon to be upon us. Looks like XMT taking their time to set up their meme formation here, which I think might actually hurt them a little bit. Normally the meme formation is not too much of a big deal, but it depends on how well they reform ranks. I guess there's no caskets here. We do have... Yeah, we have Cetra the Imperishable plus Isabella. Pretty powerful lords here for sure. The XMT side, you know, does have a little bit more memeage for once here with Grand Hierophant Kotep. So far, XMT has been all business today. They've been trying mostly competitive stuff, but I think Kotep is the first meme that we'll be seeing out of the meme clan today. Yeah. Sandstorm is great. Sandstorm is great. I used to jam to some Tiesto when I was in college back in 2006. I used to play some World of Warcraft and do Arena, and I would play some Tiesto stuff. Yeah, it was fun. Hey, Down Under Blunder, I'm glad you're enjoying the games. More to come. You just put on Sandstorm. It's a classic. Does Sandstorm still have a copyright? That song is old as hell. Yeah, so the rule with like copyright music becoming open source is like, isn't it like 70 something years, like 76 years, and like the artist has to not be alive or something? Like there's some wild stipulations with that. I don't know off the top of my head. Yeah. Yeah, the 2000s were definitely like a dark ages for music, but there's still stuff I enjoy from that time. Like it's more like memey though. Like I feel like music from the 90s, like grunge, you know, Foo Fighters, Nirvana, you know, Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, Pearl Jam. Like I feel like all those kind of bands are going to stand the test of time, you know? Like in 20 years I'll be like, yeah, that's some great music. But then like all the stuff from the 2000s, you know, there will be a couple exceptions like Linkin Park and, you know, Muse and all these bands like this. But generally, like most of the new metal stuff will be like looked at as like the dark ages of music. Yeah, I think that's how it's going to be perceived. I played a Frost Mage. I was a Gladiator Frost Mage in World of Warcraft Arena. Yes. That is that. 14-hour Alterac Valley. Dude, I loved old Alterac Valley. Like I would get a group of my friends and we would go in and we would actually feel like we were on some side mission to make a difference in the battles. It was so cool. Yeah. And mages were super good in Alterac Valley because you'd have these big Zerg battles and the mages could just sit in the back and like drop a ton of DPS and just do a ton of work. So yeah. Oh, dude, and don't get me wrong, guys. I love music from the 2000s. That's my time, dude. That was when I was jamming. But generally, it's like, I think that's how it will widely be perceived. Yeah, I don't even know what modern music is really, but I think that's normal. You know, as you get older, you don't really follow it as closely. All right. Here we go. Oh yeah, I'll take new metal all day over that type of stuff, Hank. 100%. So, the battle is here. The 2v2 is upon us. The forces of XMT advancing onto the undead, and it looks like the Great Bows have started to exchange some fire. Oh, we actually do have triple Great Bow here from Poison Ducky. Okay, so the ranged assets for both armies are going to be relatively even. Sorry, I was a little bit spaced out talking about all the music with you guys. Hopefully you don't mind. But the Ushabti going to be getting into zombies. Should be able to cut through the zombies. Not super quickly, but, you know, I'm still at a decent pace. A couple zombies on impact are going to be going down. Norscan Berserkers will be very good buzzsaws in this matchup. And as far as, like, living units go, Berserkers do have very good durability and leadership. Not durability, but I should say staying power. Berserkers are quite squishy, actually, but they do have good staying power because of their leadership, the enraged mechanic, and all that sort of good stuff. So the Berserker lines have got in. The hard counter to the Tomb Kings is upon us as a Burning Head immediately eviscerates the Skeleton Spears. Oh, but the Burning Head might get into these other Berserkers here. We'll have to see. So the triple Great Bows here for XMT appear to be shooting into the Horsemen. Wow, look at that! Those Horsemen got shreked by the Beast of Tashnar. That is a brutal loss for the forces here of RTK, losing all their mobility on the flanks just to the Beast of Tashnar and a little bit of Great Bow fire. Now the Berserkers in the front, still getting in there. Some of them are pushing into the secondary, now fighting the Königstein Stalkers. And the Berserkers seem to be doing very well. It seems like the forces of XMT have compromised the front line very quickly, and there are more Burning Heads to be brought into play. Scab's Wraith going down, very nice cast here by Valkanos, is going to be slamming into the Marauder Berserkers. And Happy Puppy doing a bit of a tactical retreat here with the Chosen of the Gods and the Ushabti, which is nice. I think creating some separation back here and resetting a little bit would be prudent. Now, Great Bows for XMT are shooting into the Blood Knights of Valkanos. That's a very nice catch. Blood Knights are incredibly expensive and certainly something that you want to bring down. It looks like an overcasted invo. No, single target invo going down in this situation. And yeah, you can see that the Blood Knights will be forced to pull back here. Berserkers, man, really carrying this battle pretty effectively, cutting through all the undead chaff at a very expedient rate here. And such are the Imperishable going to be getting in to try and help. But Wolfric coming in, finishing off the Tomb Prince with a nice little charge on his horse here. Horserick not taking any prisoners. Another Burning Head going down. It looks like it will be tickling the pickle of a couple of those Tomb King's forces going back. And now the Ushabti are on top of the ranged Ushabti with Marauder support. And again, it really looks like XMT is in a very dominant situation in this game. The double undead healing hasn't really seemed to be that big of a factor, right? The Norscan aggression teamed up with the Overwatch fire from the Ushabti Great Bows in the back has been a nice little combo so far. And the Ushabti from the forces of RTK have been having to constantly pull back and run and getting pressured. And yeah, the Blood Knights are also not really able to engage because every time they overextend, they get shot down by the Great Bows. Even though the Blood Knights are very necessary for trying to take down the Ushabti, right? They're going to be the saving grace against this pressure here in the backfield. It's certainly not over by any stretch of the imagination. We still have Isabella. Such of the Imperishable is much stronger than either of the Lord choices on the forces of XMT. So there's a lot of carry potential here. I think if Valkanos and Happy Puppy can find a way to secure this backfield, save the Ushabti, nice invo on the Blood Knights to try and salvage that backfield, the game could certainly turn around very, very aggressively. Berserker is also getting a little bit worn down by the undead attrition. The Ushabti summoned to the front line. Looks like it's in, yeah, so the Happy Puppy did summon the Ushabti there. And Cetra now going to be going to peel the backfield, which I think is a smart play. Cetra going to be surfing on over here, going after the Mage of Fire. That would be a very nice catch, but it looks like the Burning Head still does go off. The Sternsmen take a little bit of damage from that, but Sternsmen are fairly heavily armored, so they're not going to be taking too much at the end of the day. Curse Blades activated on Cetra, giving a nice burst of damage. 588. Wolfric, Horserick is going in. Hunter of Champions is active, and now the XMT call has been made to switch focus fire into Cetra. Hunter of Champions is going to be mitigating armor and speed, and the Ushabti plus Horserick the Wanderer getting in there. But Isabella coming to protect her new boyfriend. I guess Vlad is old news, as Lady Karstein going to be piling in to fight in this 2v2 fight. Got to be careful, though. Kotzep is nearby with his Pimp Cane. He could perhaps pile in. But Cetra's Curse is active. Wolfric doing big damage. And killing Cetra here would definitely be like the moment in the Dark Knight when Bane breaks the back of Batman. But it looks like Cetra able to get back here. And yeah, I guess there would be like the epic recovery montage as well, potentially, which is happening right now. Wolfric turning around as well and giving the dirty to Isabella von Karstein, while Cetra responds in kind. Very good back and forth micro by both teams. Cetra appears to be going after the Shaman Sorcerer, and it looks like a zombie summon going to be coming down here from Lady Karstein. In the backfield, XMT Ushapti doing a good job, but again, Happy Puppy should be able to actively juke this. It looks like she is quite aware of that situation and is going to be going back and forth to mitigate some of those shots coming in. But this has turned out to be a very close, solid battle. Valkanos also doing an excellent job keeping those Blood Knights active, while the XMT forces continue to just push and grind. Ammunition running out, though, and Wolfric has been a pretty solid carry this game, hunting down many of these characters. For once, Wolfric is actually living up to his name here, right? They are... He's the Hunter of Champions for once. Doesn't happen often. You know, I really just wish they would give Wolfric armor piercing. The whole thing with Wolfric's lore is he's supposed to be like some badass hunter of characters. And like all these epic champions in Warhammer Fantasy happen to have a ton of armor and he just can't kill them. It's silly. I just like, just give him armor piercing. Come on. Come on. Just do it. It would make him so much better. So, no, this is not a best of 3. All the games in these matches are best of 1s. In this clan war, including the 2v2s. So you guys will see the score of the tournament after all is said and done. So Wolfric continuing to hunt champions, looking right now to go after, oh, Isabella. She's in trouble. Somehow she gets caught in combat with the Beast of Tashnar. If Lady Karstein does not have a zombie summon, she's 100% dead here. Wolfric coming in, gets a nice shot to the back. Lady Karstein down to 710. Blood Knights also piling in from Valkanos to rescue Isabella. Will it be enough? She's at 10 leadership right now. Wolfric needs to turn around and take her out. Oh my god. Valkanos is going to get away, but Wolfric is on the hunt. 78 speed against 66. Her horse is quite a bit slower. It is decrepit, but a very good summon. That is big. That gives the forces of RTK a fighting chance. If Isabella had gone down there, I think it would have been game blouses. Cetra is also in death's bed. He's very, very low. But if Isabella and Cetra can gather and use an invocation, man, oh man, that would just be Bread City. That'd be so good. Looks like Nero's incantation is going down. Cetra really needs an invo right now. He's being hunted again by the Hunter of Champions. Wolfric coming in. Will he get him? 287. -3 leadership. The Chariot is faster, 84 speed. But again, Wolfric is getting the acceleration from being charging nearby, so he might be able to catch it. Curse Blades active on Wolfric. Will Cetra be caught? Will Cetra serve? It looks like Cetra is going to be serving as he's at -11, surrounded by the Ushapti of the forces of Katep, and Cetra going down. And now it looks like the balance of power is pretty heavily in the favor of the XMT squad, as Valkanos, despite some very nice micro here with Isabella, not going to have enough to win this. I mean, 2 White Kings are still left, but Wolfric will probably be able to do that. Yeah, you'll see the score in between the game. I'll switch it. If you guys think that's a better thing, I can put these scorecards up on the top for the 2 clans instead of player names. I think that's what we did last time, so we'll just do that. For some reason, I thought this would be better, but, you know, it is what it is. So Isabella moving about, being hunted by the Hunter of Champions. Wolfric going in for the kill. Looking to hunt down Isabella. He's got to have some crazy value this game. How is the balance of power pulling back, by the way? I guess the White Kings and Scab Scrates and things like that, but yeah, Wolfric should be able to get this. Oh, but he gets caught in like a zombie. Oh, that's brutal. Hunter of Champions is going to be kind of wasted here. Here he goes on the horse. Horse-Rick, not messing around, trying to get through his own skeletons. It looks like the forces of XMT mainly just cleaning out chaff right now. I don't know what the traditional vampire counts here have left. Only 10 Blood Knights and the White Kings, and it looks like, oh, there are some Graveguards still. Okay, the Graveguard are no joke. Katep has probably just been riding around casting support magic. I don't know if I've actually seen a Sandstorm this game. You guys may have seen this. I'm not sure. And here comes Grand Hierophant Katep. Oh, look at this. Valkanos going for the goon. Katep, he's old, but he's still got some moves, man. He's juking out. The White Kings here, going to be running away on his skeletal steed, pushing through some of the Graveguard, running back to the support of the Ushapti. Don't want to be losing characters. I mean, this game still could be won by the White Kings. For sure. Wolfric is really going to have to put this game on his back here and get some good gooning. Really, really nice micro here by the RTK team in the 4th quarter of the game. But the Wanderer, what is he going to be going after? A little bit risky to go after the 2 White Kings there, but he does get a nice charge on Isabella. Isabella down to 893. Your leadership was negative for a hot second. Let's see how this goes. Horse-Rick on the hunt. He's after you. 893. She going to get hit again. Her steed is quite a bit slower. Wolfric is faster, so he can kind of keep pace. Looks like she's going to get caught on a tree right now. Wolfric does miss that attack. Isabella is going to be continuing to run, while the 2 White Kings... Okay, this could be a big game-changing situation. If Wolfric gets caught out here in open field by the two White Kings, okay. Nice control as well by Katam. He's able to juke back. We still have a shit ton of Ushabti Great Bows too, and they're not bad in combat. If they can surround the White Kings and just circle beat them, that would probably be a fair amount of good value here for the forces of XMT. We will see. Wolfric once again looking for his prey. Valkanos has been very, very slippery this game with Isabella, just dodging all these gooning attempts, showing some excellent micro here. And Kotsep has been doing the same thing. Poison Ducky's been able to juke many of those engagements and stay safe, and now it looks like Hunter of Champions is active, and Wolfric going in for the kill. Will he get the blow? Oh, he's kind of blocked by his own Ushabti. Granted, some of the Ushabti are making contact, so it's still worth it here. Yep, he gets the hit, I think. Nope, 0 leadership, 24. Hunter of Champions still active. Looks like Isabella is going to be able to squeak away. Wolfric was blocked by his own Ushabti, although now he piles in once again. Isabella does get hit. Kotsep coming in for the killing blow with his Pimp Cane. 300 weapon strength, showing Isabella what's up. 118, negative 36. And here, the White Kings will be surrounded and will be circle beaten. And it's only a matter of time now. Because basically what happens is White Kings get stuck in combat. Wolfric and Kotsep just cycle charge them into oblivion. And that is going to be a victory coming in for XMT in this clan war. Beautiful stuff indeed. That was quite a bit of fun. A very good match. Honestly, in the beginning, it looked very one-sided. It looks like XMT was going to dominate that fight, but some very good control from the forces of RTK with, Happy Puppy and Valkanos did bring the game back to, relatively even game. So big props to both sides. That was a very, very fun match. Very, very fun match. All right, all right.
Everything must die.
There you go. I hear random yelling. I just heard some obscure sound. I don't know if it was one of the bums outside who lives across the street or if it was Wolfric, but, close enough. It's time. Kotsep, dude. Kotsep was showed no mercy this game. I wish we could have seen. I could have focused more on the sandstorms, but it's kind of hectic in 2v2s. Yeah, I don't think he got any sandstorms. Oh, he didn't even bring the. What are you doing? Oh my God, Poison Ducky, what's wrong with you? You didn't even bring the bound sandstorm on Kotsep. Oh, how could you do this? You're an XMT. Come on, give us a sandstorm. Goodness gracious. What's going on here? Well, anyways, I'm a little bit disappointed now. But I did like it. I like the Ushabti rush. I think that was kind of cool. The Ushabti were great. Berserkers really did solid work. Not crazy value accrued, but they punched through the chaff. Yeah, I really liked the combo of Isabella as well as Cetra too. Cetra did nice with 2,000 value, and Isabella with the Blood Chalice of Bathorai I think can do some nice healing too. All right, so let's jump on over, update these scorecards. So that is going to be a victory for XMT, which is going to be giving them the lead in Ye Old Clan War here. So let's go ahead and fill this bad boy in. There you go. You can see so far XMT is going to be going up by, that was a 2v2. So yeah, that's actually 2 points. So XMT scoring a total of, let's see. Yeah, XMT winning both the 2v2s. That actually gives them a pretty substantial lead. They're going to go up 5-2 right now. So right now we need to see some performances from RTK to get back on the board. The 3v3 is probably going to be the deciding factor in the end. Yeah. So is the song... I have no idea, Jedi Master. I have no idea. Okay. So now we can prepare the next match. You guys can, of course, see all the nameplates right here. And now we have Slayer versus, let's see, Ice Power Total War. All right. GG, well played. All right. In that match, they were actually talking about how Kotsep's staff was very good, the Lich staff, which is good. If you keep spamming spells, it can shut down your invocations and other magic and all that sort of good stuff. So, all right. Let's get in there, man. Oh, shit, I didn't check Wolfric's value. We'll ask the players. We'll ask them. All right, so I'm going to update the nameplates as requested. And we'll make sure they reflect the clans and the total scores. So RTK here. I just forgot how I had done it last time. It's been a while. So RTK is on 2 and XMT is on 5. And now we can get ready for the next match. We got Slayer versus Ice Power Total War. Yeah, Hunter of Champions was really good that game. Really, really strong. Oh, Jedi Master got it. Yeah, no, the reference went over my head. Thank you. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that bit now. It's a fun song. It's very catchy, actually. Very catchy indeed. Poison Ducky says he couldn't bring Sandstorm because of copyright infringement. Fair play. Fair play. Yeah, you didn't want to get my stream demonetized. That's very nice of you. What if it actually played? What if Creative Assembly like paid for the licensing of that song and just like actually had it in their game? That would be hilarious. Although that would be a disaster because then they might have the license for it, but we wouldn't on YouTube. So I'd have to mute every single game with Kotzep in it. So, yeah. Thomas Green, yeah. Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. All right, so the clan war is upon us. RTK has won most of the 1v1 matches. However, XMT doing very, very well in the 2v2s, which has given them a pretty solid performance here. Now, switching back, we have adjusted the top of the scoreboard so you can see the overall score so far from the tournament. RTK with 2 points, winning 2 1v1s. And XMT has won a 1v1 with Falcon claiming victory over Vicious Satsuma and then winning the 2v2 matches as well. I would say that that's kind of a specialty of XMT. They're very good at 2v2s. They seem to play them quite a bit, and they always perform pretty well in tournaments in those 2v2s. So, from what I have seen. So let me just update these score cards here real quick and make them a little bit more fun. Here we go. Yeah, so we'll keep this format as far as these scoreboards go. Sorry about that. Should have done that from the beginning. Not even watching, just listening. Keep on rambling, mad mullet. I will. Dude, I could cut my hair into a mullet right now. I probably should. Part of me wants to do a mustache because I have a pretty huge mustache right now, so I could actually just shave the beard and have an epic mustache. Oh my god. There's like this neighbor I have, and he has like the most haggard, terrible, like beat-ass motorcycle, and it's just like so loud and shitty. And he just rides past my house like 10 times a day when I'm recording. Oh god. You guys might not be able to hear it, but it's really distracting to me. Yeah, he's and you know what's funny about that guy is he actually has a mullet. He legit has one. And he just wears like these dirty clothes, and he walks these 2 dogs which are just all mean. Just all the stereotypes, man. Yeah. All right, so here we are. Of course, it's Ice Power Total War. So I expect nothing less than Wrathy Double Manticore. Very, very standard. Looks like he's here to win. No memes today. You know, XMT, not too many memes today. Not too many. Scourgerunner Chariots. We do also have the Dark Riders. More Dark Riders in the backfield, and that appears to be it. This is like the classic Ice Power build. I feel like he could bring this in like every matchup, and it'd probably be like somewhat functional, right, with his playstyle. So for the forces here of Chaos, we're going to be led by Slayer. He does have the Warp Chicken, double Hell Cannon. Oh, hell yeah, talk dirty. Dude, Hell Cannons are so awesome. We got a couple Marauder Horsemen in the back, Chaos Marauders, Spawn in the backfield, Warp Chicken. My only concern for this army is dealing with the Manticores. The main tool is going to be the Marauder Horsemen, of course, but Warp Chicken can also fight them. Double Hell Cannon will give some tools against Skirmish, but I mean, yeah, probably shooting the Repeater Crossbows is your best bet. All right, double Hell Cannon, baby, let's go. Let's go. No, Rakarth, I know. How could we not get Rakarth? Yeah, you heard it, yeah. Oh, here he comes again. On his hog. 4th of July is coming. Yeah, maybe we'll do like a 4th of July stream with a mullet. I think that'd be good. A mullet and a mustache. Yeah, I'll shave my beard. The beard isn't very good. It's not even worth showing. We'll do a Warcraft 3 stream with it just so you guys can see it at least once. But yeah, mustache and mullet on 4th of July sounds pretty good. Yeah. This is the classic build. Wrathy Double Manticore. Nope. All good. No need to wait for me. You guys get in there. You have some fun. Got to be Marauder Infantry. Chaos Marauders, of course, trade, you know, okay against Dread Spears and Bleak Swords. And the Marauder Horsemen are going to be the main element here of Slayer's army, of course, in tandem with the double Hell Cannons. Hell Cannons, I like them against Dark Elves, because if you don't have Hell Cannons, you have to chase the Dark Elves, and that's never fun. Chasing Scourge Runners and Repeater Crossbows with the Warriors of Chaos. But if you have the double Hell Cannons, you can kind of dictate the position of the battle and force your opponent to come to you. So the Blood buff has been popped, giving vigor and acceleration and speed to the Hell Cannons, putting them up to 25 speed. And now they shall be waddling forward. 100% shooting at the Dark Riders, in my opinion, is the right way to go. Hellstorm Rocket Batteries on July 4th. I know, I feel like we should do another Balthazar Gelt campaign on July 4th, but I already have one on the channel, so we'll see how it goes. We will see how it goes indeed. All right, so here comes the shots shooting into the Dark Riders. Again, the correct choice in my opinion. Looks like 4 or 5 Dark Riders have fallen immediately, and the Scourge Runner Chariot's going to be using their ammo to skirmish with the Horsemen, which is pretty good. Horsemen will take some casualties. Scourge Runners can stay at a safe range of 150, but again, the Hell Cannons will be exchanging. Is one of these Hell Cannons a Soul of Damnation? It's not. Okay. I think that's a slight mistake. I think Soul of Damnation is pretty much always worth it simply because it has exponentially more ammo. And in this game, that's very important. Look at the Hell Cannon shooting at the chariots right now. I think that's a mistake. With proper juking, those chariots will like never get hit. Some Wrathy popping the Wand of Crydon right here to hit the Marauder Horseman, does some decent damage. You'll see like a Hell Cannon had like almost a direct hit on the chariots here, and it does okay damage, but it's really not a cost-effective usage of that ammunition. Much better value is being accrued from the Dark Riders, in my opinion. You can see these ones took casualties, substantial. Stopping power was actually removed. Like, every model you remove from a repeater crossbow is substantial. Whereas the Scourge Runners, even if you kind of poke them, they're gonna endure. Hell Cannon's one shot right there, takes out only one of the Dark Riders, which is interesting. But then Tokyo drifts in and takes out like 5 or 6. Really, really nice. So those Dark Riders are going to be forced back. Nobody enjoys getting blasted by a Hell Cannon there. That is not going to be a good time. So here come the Marauder Horsemen, chasing, hunting, looking to go after the Scourge Runner Chariots, which is okay. Scourge Runners are pretty armored though, so unless they're throwing axes, which they're not, Scourge Runners will not be taking much damage. But now the Hell Cannons have gotten the right idea, going after the Dark Riders, 1 and a 2. And look at that. I mean, that's good. You have effectively removed a threat from the battlefield right there, right? Whereas if you had kept shooting at the Scourge Runners, they would still be functional and shooting, and you wouldn't really have accrued that much. So Ice Power seems to be trying to get rid of the Marauder Horsemen, which I think if the Horsemen are eliminated from the battle, I think that the Manticores could rampage and just go crazy. And I don't mean rampage in the literal sense, but I mean just running out of control. AoE punishment from both sides. We do have Ice Power Total War with a Soul Stealer, which is pretty much the only thing Wrathy usually brings in terms of magic. And then Sartorial has the Final Transmutation. So both players have elements that can punish blobs pretty heavily. But this is actually pretty standard for this matchup. Basically, you just have Hell Cannons like trading all day. These Dark Riders with the repeater crossbows being brought low as well. So 2 Dark Riders essentially being taken offline. However, they have okay ammunition and will be coming back into the later stages of the game. Honestly, if I were Warp Chicken, I might turn and fight this with your spawn. Oh, it looks like a Soul Stealer's coming in. Yeah, that's going to be a good one. It will hit 2 Marauder Horsemen. It's not that devastating, though. It's not like elite troops being hit. The Horsemen, of course, are now taking repeater crossbow fire. Ice Power Total War still coming out ahead in that engagement. He got the better engagement. The spawn got worn down, and the 2 Horsemen units being afflicted by that Soul Stealer. But it's not the most devastating thing in the world. So here we get a couple Horsemen bouncing out. Ice Power must have these Scourge Runners on auto skirmish. It looks like they're pulling back. Hell Cannon shots once again breaking those Dark Riders in the back, which I like. If you break them a couple times, you might shatter them, and then you don't have to worry about them at all. So I like the fact that he's shooting into the Dark Riders back here. Now, we do have some Bleak Swords trying to surge into the backfield. Ice Power finds a nice opening, but Slayer does intercept here, and the Warp Chicken is also going to be lending his beak and his big Pimp Cane to the main fight here and going after the Dread Spheres. Doombolt coming down, or Wand of Crydon, a nice usage here on the Demon's View. I also like this from Slayer, the fact that he is using the Demon's View as a backfield defensive unit, because if anything gets through, like Bleak Swords or whatever, they will be able to cut them out pretty quick. Just got to watch out for the dreaded Soul Stealers, really. That's the main thing. So the Forsaken do catch this Frail Manticore. They will actually do some good damage to it. The Marauder Horseman getting some good sustained fire. You can see the Manticore taking a fair amount of damage. Yeah, you can see the throwing weapons plus the Manticores and the the Forsaken against it. Getting some good work in. So now we do get some Bleak Swords in the backfield. It looks like the Forsaken not going to be there to protect it. I think Slayer needs to use his cavalry. The Hell Cannons really need to use all of their ammunition to make this game effective for Chaos. Now for Ice Power Total War, really, really good Dark Rider positioning. He's able to sit back here with them. They're unimpeded. They're not being chased. They can shoot non-stop. And pretty much anything big of value is going to be blasted. Soul Stealer going down, it would appear, but it did not hit the Demon's View, which is weird because they're like right in that center engagement. And it looks like this Manticore is kind of thinking about going after the Hell Cannons, which isn't a bad idea. I mean, going after the healthy Hell Cannon or the one with good ammo might be prudent, because the other one only has like a couple shots left, so going after that, not worth it. But yeah, even still, I think just let it run out of ammo at this point. I don't think it's worth like investing resources to kill the Hell Cannons. Now you'll just have to deal with the Chaos Dwarves. The mighty Chaos Dwarf DLC is upon us as they are fielding. How many do we have? How many Chaos Dowie are here on the battlefield? I think it's 8 per or 9 per, so they're getting in there. We will see. Warp Chicken, where are you? Warp Chicken is chasing down some of the chariots. Wrathy should be able to defeat Warp Chicken in combat, so that makes it a little bit tricky for the big bird. Hell Cannon shots still blasting into the Dark Riders may lead to a break. Their leadership is sitting at 23 right now. Manticore in the backfield chasing down these skirmishers. It is rampaging, so no control there from Ice Power, while Slayer just kind of kites them happily and gets some good value. But overall, it looks like Dark Elves might be in a little bit better shape. I mean, we still have Marathi and a fair amount of infantry, I guess, coming back, although I don't know. This battle's really close. If the Chaos Spawn are allowed to live and the Manticores are just gooned out here, Chaos might be able to get back in this. A nice Searing Doom there in the backfield, able to punish those Dark Riders. And it looks like this Manticore might be led to rampaging once again. Yep, there's the Rampage. Marathi going to be dropping a Wand of Koraidon, which should be going down, or no, a Soul Stealer, actually. Very nice on the Chaos Spawns. They'll be taking a bit of damage, but yeah, 100% need to finish off this Manticore. Killing the Manticores here is essential. The Chariots for the Dark Elves will be impactful at cleaning up pretty much any scraps Chaos has left. Chaos does have a Torspin, and the Chaos Dwarves, of course, are fighting. And it looks like Warp Chicken able to get his big drumstick, and this Feral Manticore is going to be taken out pretty decisively by the big bird. 123 HP. That thing shouldn't be coming back. Now, the other Manticore did come back, and that's the main reason why the balance of power looking pretty good for the Druchii. Also, the Scourge Runner Chariots are a big variable, and Marathi is full health as well. So Marathi ready to fight. She should be able to dominate the chicken. I mean, they have about the same HP, but the chicken is he's okay in combat. He's okay. And I guess Marathi has light armor, so he could potentially do a little bit better than you would expect here. So charging in, the Chaos Dwarves have engaged against the Chariots. We do have the 9 Hell Cannon crews, the Spawn and Marauders getting ready to fight here in the backfield, and it looks like the Dark Riders are going to be suffering a terror rout. But yeah, Manticore plus Marathi here in the later stages of the game should be able to shut down the Big Bird. Yeah, Big Bird trying to go and deal with the Chariots a little bit. Marauders and Spawn now piling into fight. How many Spawn do we have left? It looks like 11, so pretty good stopping power in terms of the Spawn. The one thing that could turn the tide of this game, which I don't think is available since we saw Searing Doom, is a Final Transmutation. If we just saw the most erect, seriously heavy-duty Final Transmutation right here that hits like everything, maybe? Oh, the Warp Chicken has it! Okay. I think it's too late, though. We'll see. Is it overcasted? It is overcasted. Man, he had a lot of Winds of Magic saved up. So that hits the Feral Manticore and also hits Marathi. So that Manticore will be broken. Is this going to be one of those weird games where like someone comes back from army losses? Because right now, Chaos is army lost. They're chasing down the Manticore. The way Final Transmutation works too is if you run out of the aura of it, it stops hitting you. I believe Soul Stealer keeps hitting. Joe Leonard, thank you for joining the Dukes of Haggard. Welcome. May Chuck Norris bless your sacred entry into this crew. Thank you. Appreciate it. So here comes the Spawn and Big Bird. I think it's over at this point. I think that was the last gasp of strength here for the forces of Chaos, and now Marathi is going to be coming in and using her ways to bring down the big chicken. There goes the Manticore, cycle charging, of course, a very good call here. How does he have so much Winds of Magic? I mean, he just overcasted a Final Transmutation, and now we're seeing a Searing Doom. Crazy amount of Winds of Magic, I guess. Maybe he just like, banked it in the early game and didn't really use much, which I think probably is the case there. Good night, sweet chicken. The Chaos Spawn fighting pretty well. That was a good game. It was close. I mean, that was a 9 or 10 minute game. Nice match between these two players. Very good performance here by Slayer. But Ice Power Total War and his dreaded double Marathi is legendary in the community. Tough to bring down. And, honestly, Chaos, I think, has a bad matchup against Dark Elves in general. So, it's going to be a tough one, especially when you're facing a top tier Dark Elf player. GG, well played. And there it is. Yes, I agree. I think it's a bad matchup for Chaos, but that doesn't take away from the performance of Ice Power. His engagements were great. And that is that. I like the Hell Cannons. They both did okay, 800 and 1100 value. Able to really give you some counterpunch against the repeater crossbows. There you have it. I've been seeing some weird Chaos builds using like Chaos Knights too in that matchup. There's all sorts of crazy stuff. All right, so updating ye old scoreboard. That is going to be XMT going up to a pretty big lead here, guys. 6-2. The 3v3 is going to be super important. Super important, I think, for RTK in the later stages. So we got another one. Thank you for becoming a member. Really appreciate it. Welcome to the Dukes of Haggard. We got Nog in the house. A little DS9 action. All right, jumping on over to the brackets now. We can update this. So that is going to be a victory here for Ice Power Total War, so you guys can see the tail of the tape so far. And we need to update the score here as well. So that is going to be 6-2 at the moment. All right. Here we have it, the power of technology. Let us do it. Oh yeah, Melody. The builds are good. The builds are good. Ice Power, of course, also a YouTuber. He just started his own YouTube channel and putting up content. So if somebody wants to drop a link to his channel, please do. And yes, I will get a Discord link here in just a hot second. Just give me a moment. And let me set this up and get ready for the next match. All right. GG. So let me get you a link to the Discord. We'll do all that sort of good stuff. Did I forget something? Hold on a sec. Oh, thank you, Pone. Professor Pone shouting out the stream. I forgot to actually promote my own stream in Discord as well as Twitter. So thank you, Pone. I really appreciate that. All right, so if you guys are interested in getting involved in these events in the future, joining clans, just playing in tournaments, various things like that, here is a link to Ye Old Discord. So you guys can check that out and get in there and have some fun, man. It's going to be good. Life will be good. All right, so next up we have Prussian Prince, a very solid Bretonnian player doing very well in the World Championship, facing off against Killerino and his High Elves on Prague. That is going to be a tough matchup for sure. But we'll see how it goes. Prussian Prince versus Killerino. This would be an upset for sure. High Elves typically don't do well against Bretonnia. And Prussian Prince is one of the best Bretonnian players in the game. So that is going to be very tough. Eric, thank you for the donation. Misha, thank you. Wei is playing. Yeah, Wei did some 2v2s, I think. Yeah. Misha says we're not even at 300 likes. Do you think we deserve the link? That's funny. All right. So currently XMT up to a decent little lead. If you guys want to see what's playing today, this is the tail of the tape. The green marker indicates the victor, and the overall score is in the top left and top right. XMT winning the 2v2s as well as 2 1v1s. RTK did come off to a very nice start, winning the 2 initial matches. And now we're going into a matchup which should be favored for RTK. However, you never know. High Elves can do some crazy shit with their monsters, so occasionally you'll see some weird matches and things like that. Let's go ahead and switch this, update. And looks like we're all set. Feel like I have fun? Yes, it is I. Oh yeah, I'm playing under T today. All right. Start when ready. Let's do it, man. Razor, welcome to the Dukes of Haggard. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for becoming a member here on the channel. Looking forward to seeing you around. Turin, when are you playing Crusader Kings 3? One of the funniest videos I've ever seen. You know, I don't know. I don't know if that'll happen again. It might. Like, if somebody hit me up, like someone who, like Italian Spartacus or I would be interested in doing it, but playing by myself, I'm not terribly interested. I prefer a real-time strategy where, there's micro and reactions and tactics and things like that. I mean, it does kind of have that in Crusader Kings. You have, like, move your armies and you have to use terrain and movement. But, yeah, I prefer a little bit more action myself. Mighty says, I'm currently building a Bloodthirster model. What would you say if I paint it in a Nurgle scheme? I think that'd look really cool, but one thing for me, if I have models that don't match my army, like if my army's mismatched in terms of a scheme, it really bothers me. So just take that into account. If you paint him as a Bloodthirster, but then you have with Nurgle and you have a bunch of like Bloodletters that are painted as Khorne, it might bother you. It bothers me, but just evaluate yourself. And if that doesn't bother you, then go for it. But for me, I have repainted my Chaos Space Marine army like multiple times because I painted them as Emperor's Children, then Black Legion, and then I just like, yeah. I played Crusader Kings when it first came out. I did a stream with, it was me, Italian Spartacus, Dov, Heir of Carthage, H for Havoc, and a couple other creators as well. And we had a really fun, that was actually a really fun stream. Yeah. I had a lot of fun because it was like, it had a multiplayer element to it, and that's what I'm saying. If I got hit up by some other people who wanted to do a stream for it, I would be down. But if it's just me playing by myself, yeah. I know, Melody, it is, but I'm done with it now. I don't do that anymore. I've now officially decided my scheme for all my armies. I'm just going to keep my Space Marines, Black Legion, and my my Empire army is all good. And don't worry, I stripped the paints off. Because I like my army to look uniform on the battlefield. Like, I didn't like how mismatched everything looked. Yeah, it haunted me. All right. Well played. A solid match. Now back into Ye Olde Battle. Currently, XMT is up 6-2. The 2v2 matches have been killer here in this perspective. And now if we look at Killerino, I actually did not mean that pun to happen. Did not. Not intentional at all. So we got a Mage of Fire. We got Burning Head and Fireball. We do also have Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers. And the main battle line is going to be Silver and Guard. Silver and Guard have some applications here. They They kind of get owned by foot squires, but, you know, a little bit more durable against like battle pilgrims, peasant mobs. Much of the Bretonnian shock cavalry doesn't have great armor piercing, like Knights of the Realm and Grail Knights, and, you know, they can hold that back. And the magic resist can be pertinent against Bretonnia as well, against Mortis engines and, you know, that sort of thing from the Fey Enchantress. So we got a bunch of Lothern Sea Guard in the backfield, and the Lord is going to be Imric, the Lord of Dragons. See, this is a true XMT right here. Killerinu, just foot Imric against Bretonnia. Oh my god. We have a Noble as well, so double halberd. They are ready. They have their anti-large, and we'll see how they do. Now, for the forces of Bretonnia and the Prussian Prince, we're going to be seeing a much more serious build. We see Fey Enchantress, double Paladin, backed up by a bunch of Questing Knights, Knights of the Realm, Peasant Archers, Men-at-Arms, and Spearmen. So yeah, the thing is, Foot Squires can be good against High Elves, but if you have the Fey Enchantress Mortis, you don't really need anything else to kill infantry. It is very powerful for sure. So this is it. And like I said, a very tough matchup for the High Elves. In my experience, I think it's one of the worst ones for them. But all the matchups for this event were done via blind pick. So the players did not know. They essentially said what they're playing. They were shuffled, and this is it. Yeah, Killerinu really, you know, doing his clan proud. He's one of the few XMT people to actually meme today. Yeah, he's doing it. Foot Imric. It's time, baby. It's time. And Razor, thanks again for becoming a member. Greatly appreciate that. Hopefully you enjoy this game. And here we go. The Prussian Prince come in for blood. The two Paladins, you know, always quite nice. Against like Phoenixes and Dragons, the Paladins can typically do some good work. We have a single Bolt Thrower. The Bolt Thrower probably going to be unleashing shots into Knights of the Realm or Grail Knights or Questing Knights. There's a number of good targets, but basically the High Elf build is very much just like a porcupine. I'm very curious to see if Imric is going to be able to potentially, you know, be like a surgical scalpel and like pick out the Fey Enchantress and the Paladins. That would be really interesting if like we saw some weird ass meta like that. Oh my god, this is so good. Dwellers Below on top of the Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower. But you know what? Killerino does get away with the Bolt Thrower Cruise. All right. So a lot of people wouldn't have reacted that quick, but apparently he is very on point. He's awake. He's had his coffee. And the Bolt Thrower Cruise will take some big damage. But at the end of the day, the Fey Enchantress used like over 15 winds of magic. And the Bolt Throwers are just going to come back online here in a second. No, they're actually going to break. Okay. So it turns out to be worth it. And the Chalice of Potions as well. The Fey Enchantress is like, screw you in particular. Trying to kill those Bolt Throwers. Now, Lothern Sea Guard going to be shooting into the Peasant Archers. They should have a favorable trade there. Are they shielded? They are the shielded Sea Guard, so they should be very good for these missile trades. I also like the inclusion of the Mage of Fire to further roast the Peasant Archers. And it looks like Fey Enchantress getting in here, and her Mortis Engine is now in effect. Going to be hitting these units, but immediately pulls back as soon as she realizes that she doesn't have too much support. The Paladins are not nearby. Burning Head going down. Very nice one from Killerinu. It does hit the Peasant Bowmen and will potentially be Tokyo drifting into the other ones, but no, the Peasant Bowmen are able to get back. So obviously the battle looks really good for the High Elves until the Cavalry get activated, and so far we haven't seen too much Cavalry play yet. Looks like Prussian Prince kind of circling around the back, looking for engagements, and Imric and the maybe Imric and the Noble are the way, right? Maybe they're kind of discouraging some of these fights. So it looks like the Questing Knights or Knights of the Realm are going to be surging in after the Archer units, really kind of trying to find the squishier parts of the army. But everything here is anti-large, so they are going to be somewhat decent against the Knight units. On the far side, we do get a Knight engagement, Knights of the Realm pushing in, fighting Spear units. And now we get Imric and the Paladin going in. Imric getting that big anti-large shot, as is the Noble on the Paladin, and the Paladin is forced back. Now, Killerino needs to make sure to bring the Noble and Imric back to the center mass. If they get separated, the High Elves are really going to need to kind of consolidate their forces at some point. Granted, it is dangerous because the Fey Enchantress and her Drain is so goddamn good in those blob fights here. So we will see. Imric and the Noble waddling back into battle. Spears fighting here. They held pretty well against the charging of the Knights of the Realm. Prussian Prince has some excellent cavalry micro, though. I've seen him on many occasions getting some really good kind of thunderous charges. And the Bolt Thrower crew is trying its best to come back, and I don't know if the Prince has noticed it. Looks like Killerino might be able to get his Bolt Thrower back online. He shouldn't, though. I think these Knights of the Realm see their prize. So Lothern Sea Guard collapsed on once again by Knights of the Realm. Their backs were turned, so they won't be getting their charge bonus. Imric has been having a tough time just kind of waddling, and this is the risk of the foot characters. But maybe he'll turn around and fight against Knights of the Realm. Another Dwellers Below going down, which, is pretty good. We'll be wrecking these Lothern Sea Guard pretty good. Lothern Sea Guard getting worn down here. The High Elf Spears seem to be performing pretty well across the board. Some Silver Guard being broken on the top of the battlefield, but not before they take a substantial amount of HP off those Questing Knights. And Foot Imric looks to be going after the Fey Enchantress. Honestly, I think the Paladin would have been good. Fey Enchantress is very slippery. The one thing about the Fey Enchantress, though, she doesn't have good mass, so sometimes she can get caught in formations and die. And look at that, Enchantress taking a good 1-2 punch, but the Burning Head might actually end up hurting the Silverin a little bit, letting the Enchantress escape. But, you know, if Enchantress does get brought down to a pretty low amount of HP as the Silverin Guard continue to press, oh, a really, really good Chalice of Potions. And these are basic Spearmen, so they're going to go from 4,700 HP. Oh, a nice dodge from Killerino. He's really, really on point with these dodges today. He's been able to kind of catch all of these tricks of the Prussian Prince and, you know, put up a great fight in a matchup which is normally very heavily favored for the Bretonnians. So Spearmen fighting here, Lothern Seaguard also standing shoulder to shoulder. Many of the cavalry units being dragged down by the anti-large spears. And it looks like Footrik and the Noble are kind of this unstoppable presence that nobody wants to deal with, which is something I thought I would never say. However, ample cycle charging in the late game from the Paladins and the Enchantress should be able to do the trick. We will see. Some Burning Heads still active. It looks like the Mage of Fire fighting here. Some of the cavalry being forced back. We have random ass archers everywhere, just kind of peppering shots in. Bretonnia's cavalry corps, 27 models right here, 25 on these ones, and a decent little presence of cav here with Grail Knights as well. Okay, I didn't see we had Grail Knights on the battlefield, but the Grail Knights will be very tough to kill. And now it looks like they're going to be going in to try and surround Imric with a big blob of elite units, and the characters are moving in. A big commitment from Bretonnia. Now, Prussian Prince needs to make sure... Ooh, and the Silverin Guard take a big charge from those Knights of the Realm, and yeah, they were not braced, so that is going to hurt them quite badly. But... needs to make sure the Enchantress doesn't overextend. If Imric and the Noble are able to get consistent anti-large shots here on the Enchantress and or the Paladin, that could change the dynamic of this game, right? Which is still looking Bretonnian favored. Burning Head going to be going down into the archers in the backfield. High Elves need to get their spears up here to support. Like, their characters are really unsupported here. But, you know, Imric still may be able to do it. It's hard to say. The Paladin kind of getting worked down. I guess there are 48 Silverin Guard here, which are doing an excellent job. And Imric appears to be attacking the Spearmen. So you need to be grabbing Imric here and just spam clicking super, super hard, right, onto the Paladins and the characters and trying to get your money's worth that way. So High Elves look like they're kind of pulling back. Many of the Bretonnian forces on the other side of the battlefield are being pushed back by the consistent archer fire. And Imric and the Paladin are still fighting a good fight. Here they go. Enchantress is getting very low. I mean, if Killerino's able to win this, that would just be an absolutely devastating moral defeat here for the forces of RTK potentially, as Imric, the Lord of Dragons on foot, defeating potentially Enchantress double Paladin. We'll see. I mean, this has been really crazy. Just Lothern Seaguard and basically Spearmen. I mean, the whole army was just like a porcupine, right? You would expect the Enchantress to be able to mortise down all this stuff, but Imric has been able to fight pretty well. Granted, I think this Noble probably will be paying the ultimate price here, going down. Balance of power is very, very even here, and the Mage of Fire advancing up the battlefield, preparing a Burning Head for those peasant archers, and it looks like, okay, it still does pretty good. It hits both those archers and will break their leadership at the very least. So negative 18, Silverin Guard moving up. I think, you know, again, the High Elves need support. Imric can fight the two Paladins, but unsupported, he is going to have a pretty bad time. Might even be able to get 2v1 by these two characters here, so we will see. Spearmen need to advance up. They're kind of standing idle here, a little bit of a misplay. They need to be standing like on top of Imric, and they need to be fighting together. So there they go. The Mage of Fire is on the way. We got Spearmen. Now we have Archer Fire from the High Elves shooting in from all angles. And these Silverin Guards should be collapsing here. And the Enchantress takes a fat shot there from Imric. She's running for the hills, 138. And it looks like there's going to be a fireball. Oh my god, this is so big. This is a deciding play right here. 138, and the Enchantress is down. The fireball from downtown gives the High Elves the advantage. And Imric, the Lord of Dragons, continues to carry this game from foot. Fighting here against the Paladins, not giving any shits. His anti-large just doing massive work. And guys, I think we're going to be seeing a massive upset here as the forces of the High Elves continue to grind through the Bretonnian lines, with Footrik just dominating the Paladins. A Burning Head going down as well. Might get rid of some of the peasants, but I think maybe using it on the archers here would have been a little bit better. Dude, the fireball from downtown. Oh my god. This Paladin is broken. Imric is very close to dying as well. His leadership's broken. He might be able to be rallied, but I simply think Bretonnia just doesn't have the tools anymore. I mean, we have the two Paladins, but without Enchantress, Paladins are god-awful at clearing out hordes. Like, the Paladins are just going to die to Silverin Guard. Like, no problem. And guys, I think we have a High Elf victory here. Crazy match. And Footrik is going to live too. He's back. The Lord of Dragons emerges once again from the deep with 200 HP and is going to be charging valiantly towards the Paladins. His halberd has done some work this game. 2,000 value on Foot Imric. That is a thing of beauty. Oh my god. Look at that. The Mage of Fire advancing up. It looks like there are some cavalry coming in. Spearmen forming ranks to intercept. And Imric is going to be leading the charge. Will the Vuvuzela be sounded? He did not bring it, actually. The Grail Knights might actually just kill Imric here. Yeah, he might just get rode down. Okay, Imrik just Imrik just got flattened. He just got run over by the Grail Knights. That's so funny. And Prussian Prince is going to be fighting to the bitter end. I've seen Bretonnia win crazy games like this, but without the... dude, that was so funny. Imrik's like, I am the Lord of Dragons, and then the Grail Knights just lands him in the face, and he just goes down. That was really funny. Holy shit. That was so good. Still, though, I think Bretonnia has a very little chance. The High Elves just unify their forces, just push around in a blob, and... yeah, I don't know. I just don't see how Bretonnia could win this. I mean, Prussian Prince will do his best to win it. And, you know, if anybody's capable, someone like him is, for sure. Both players are saying they're ready. Going after some loose spearmen here. Killerino spears might be able to actually poke that paladin a little bit. He's at 11 leadership. Spearmen are at -1. And now they're advancing. And, yeah, Bretonnia just getting whatever picks it can. It still does have Knights of the Realm and I think some Grail Knights back here. Yeah, not Quest Knights. The spearmen do brace for the charge. But you can see as soon as they do brace, Prussian Prince is going to be relocating his forces to charge a little bit differently. Going to be trying to surround these spears. And here comes the Paladin piling in. The spears are broken. The Paladin Goon Squad seems to be doing pretty well, but like there's 83 spears back here. Despite these really nice micro engagements here, I just don't see how Prussian Prince is going to be able to do it. There's way too many porcupine quills here in this army. And yeah, the cavalry are going to start getting dragged down here. The Paladins at -8 for a second. Might actually break. And the Cav then pull back. I mean, what else are they going to go after? Maybe going after the fresh meat back here, like Lothern Seaguard. Those are a couple units you could potentially wear down. One Paladin is completely shattered. The other one here is in serious trouble. Paladins do not have good mass. And yeah, he's shaken and stirred. He's going to be mixed up and not having a great time here. Well, a couple of the High Elf units do break, which is pretty wild. Still have a Mage of Fire, which means there might be fireballs, although we've seen like 1 million burning heads this game. So I don't think we'll be seeing too many. Oh, it looks like there's still a fireball left. Paladin going to be going from 1,800 down to 1,500. That might be enough to kind of kick the army losses. Knights of the Realm maneuvering around the back, looking to try and salvage this game however they can. Maybe chasing down these routing units is a good start. But yeah, 83 spears, 51 silverins. Just no way. There's no way, guys. Man, what a match. What a match indeed. That was super fun. Yeah, a single Bretonnian field trebuchet would have been a huge game changer, right? The trebs would have been very devastating against those archer lines and silverins, but having to advance into the porcupine and honestly, Imrik being able to engage against Fey Enchantress was pretty big. Here they come. Spearmen going down. They continue to advance. The High Elves are a tide of unending spears. Pike and bow are getting in there and doing some work. Lothern Seaguard with 24 models here. And it looks like that is going to be army losses for Bretonnia as the High Elves claim final victory in this match. What a game. What a game. And that is going to be extending the lead of XMT even further, putting them out of range of the 3v3. And that's the thing. That's the thing. That is a huge one because that was one that, you know, you'd probably expect Bretonnia to win, right? But Imrik got 2,000 value. The Noble got about 600. Mage of Fire was good. And it was a very cool performance here. No trebuchets, yeah. The trebuchets definitely would have been pretty good against this. But yeah, fairly typical Bretonnian build. So not much to say there. But GG well played to both players. It was a solid performance. Playing like a man possessed. All right, so let's update this. XMT is going to be going up 7-2 here. And now we can go on over to the bracket. GG well played, indeed. We can update this one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that game. I certainly did. Always fun to see these kind of matches. And let's go ahead and see what needs to happen for an RTK comeback. So we still have a 2v2 here. There are 2, 3, and 6 points on the table. Right now, XMT has a pretty substantial lead. They have a 5-point lead. So if this 2v2 is won by XMT here, then there would only be 4 points left. And basically, the RTK clan would have no chance of coming back whatsoever. We still, of course, play through all the games to get the final score, but if this one is won here, like I said, there will be no chance. And that'll be that. Dude, thank you so much for the donation. Holy shit, that's like $300, dude. Arigato, man. Great game. Next Warhammer 3, please go and win with orcs. Maybe, Warcraft 3. Okay. Maybe Naga Sea Witch, but no pressure. Dude, I'll 100% do that for you. Thank you so much. And it won't be tonight. Tomorrow, I'm probably going to be doing a large funds tournament of some sort. But on Monday or Tuesday night, man, I'll be doing a Warcraft 3 stream. So thank you so much. That is super generous. Yeah, a big, chubby donation. Thank you, man. Really appreciate that. And I will happily use the orcs for you. I'll do like I could do like a Blade Master, like Sea Witch build or something. Yeah. Thank you, man. Thank you, thank you. And now we prepare the next match. Let's go ahead and get it going. This is an important one. Maiming doesn't have to mean losing, not if you're a Chad like Killerino. Yeah, for sure. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. 2, 3. This is a really, really big 2v2. This is like the deciding 2v2 on the stream. If RTK is able to win this, then, you know, they're back on the board. They have a chance. But if they lose it, it's over. The stream is basically, the event in terms of dictating the winner is going to be over. We'll still have more games and more fun, but yeah, this is a big one right here, guys. So most of the marbles are here on the table. Let's go ahead and check the old score plates. Let's go ahead and switch them around. Update. Here we go. Ready for the Silence and the Fury. Oh, dude, I'm super hyped. Super hyped. What time is the stream tomorrow? Probably be around 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time or noon. I'm not sure. I haven't decided yet. Dude, thank you so much again for that donation. Really appreciate it. Yeah, Monday or Tuesday night, we'll do it. And I'll make sure to post it on Twitter and Discord and whatever other places we can. We'll go from there. So what do we got going on? Nice scrappy game. Yep, saying GG. Ready. So we have the Empire and the Beastmen against the Empire and Vampire Coast. So 2 powder factions backed up by the Beastmen, which is pretty fun. We are on Gore Gazan for the map, so it's not the Bone Zone right now. It's it's Beastmen versus Beast Coast. It's the Beast Pyre versus the Beast Coast, yes. Yeah. Too fast for last. Thanks for becoming a new member. Welcome to the channel, man. Enjoy the hand-drawn emojis by Lady Turin. They're here. Cyberpants. Cyril's losing, huh? Oh, okay. He's definitely a pretty incredible player. I used to follow StarCraft esports pretty closely. I haven't as of the past like 2 years, but I still will watch games every now and then. I'll jump on and watch like show matches and all that sort of good stuff. You think Beastmen are going to win? Well, I think that is a solid prediction. I think the dreaded Bray Herd is here to stay. So we load into the match. Thank you again to Fast for Last for becoming a member here on the channel. And here we go. Let's party, man. Let's do it. Let's get this Royal Rumble going. So it's going to be the 2v2, the deciding factor. Will RTK get back on the board? Certainly have some ferocious competitors here in this match. We have Felix, who has been doing very, very well from what I've seen in the various tournaments and Anticity's Ladder. And then we also have Vicious Satsuma coming in once again, rebounding after the game against Falcon. Here with Morker the Shadowgave and a big angry Bray Herd. Arigato again for the donation. Damn, dude, you're going ham today. Thank you so much. We'll have to give you all the goods. Thank you, thank you. And Templar Knight, enjoy some gold from the mines. Lord, also thanks to you, I bought Warcraft 3 and I'm enjoying it. Any tips for a new player for humans? Ooh, humans are a hard faction to play. They are a little bit harder than some of the other ones in my opinion, but Archmage is your man. Like, if you just practice Archmage first, followed up by Mountain King second and Paladin third, you're gonna, and you can like effectively protect your Archmage while he summons water elementals and use the Mountain King to like snipe things. Like, you're gonna be good. Yeah, I would practice that, and just go Rifle Caster. So go Paladin, or go Archmage, Mountain King, Tier 1 Footman, Tier 2 switch to Rifles and Casters, like Sorceress and Priest, and then get Inner Fire at Tier 3, and like that's a pretty like solid all-rounder type build. But in every matchup it's different. Like against Undead, in the late game you want to be getting Knights and Gyrocopters. There's like all sorts of weird nuances with human, but yeah. So there you go. Those are my tips. All right, my friends, here's the 2v2 fight. We got Morker the Shadowgave backed up by Volkmar the Grim. Talk about a very unusual alliance here. I don't think Volkmar would ever be caught anywhere near Morker the Shadowgave in some sort of an alliance. Although I guess if it meant preventing like the end times, I'm sure he would be down. I don't know. It's hard to say. So for the forces of the Beast Coast, we do have zombie pirate deckhand mobs, a couple basic gunnery mobs, Carronades in the backfield, which are being protected by Beastmen. I'm sure these zombies are a little bit uneasy, as are the Gores. Very unusual alliances today. But the artillery is going to be forcing the Empire and Beastmen forward. And we have a bunch of deck droppers. I would imagine gunnery wights will be somewhere. Who's it? Is it going to be Count Noctiluss on foot? Okay. We got a Beast Lord. Oh, it's not Kazrak. I'm sorry, guys. It's still a meme, though. I think Wei still gets meme credit. Like, a Beast Lord is a meme. Anything that isn't Morker is kind of a meme right now. So there we go. They're Empire cultists. Okay, fair play. Fair play. We're getting into the technicalities now, but, you know. It's happening, man. It's happening. So here we go. The fight is upon us. Sigmar bless this ravaged battlefield. Which Beastmen herd will aid their ally more efficiently? Vampire Coast with the quad cannons. That's going to hurt pretty bad for Volkmar the Grim. What's kind of cool is, like, normally Vampire Coast gets countered by, let's say, like a bunch of bows and burning heads and things like that. They kind of struggle to get into the Empire back line without really good Scurvy Dog Micro. But you have a Beastman ally with Centaurs and Harpies, and the Beastmen are probably one of the best factions in the game at compromising backlines. So, very, very cool kind of mix-up between these two factions. Sigmar, no. Yeah, it's the Moo Civil War. We have the Beast Lord against Morker. What if they just had... You know, they could settle this like they did in the movie Troy. You remember when they send Achilles out to fight Boagrius in the beginning? They could just send the Beast Lord out to duel Morker in a fight to the death. And the winner, like, it'll save all the men. The other armies can go home. The battle will be decided by Morker and the Beast Lord. I think that's how it should be. Yeah. Something to think about. All right. Both players on both sides appear to be ready. They can start anytime. No need to wait for me. And here we go, man. We have at my local store, we have a Beastman player. He plays Beastman in tabletop. And he's always like, every time I see him, he's always complaining about how terrible they are. It's so funny. Like, I go into the store, I see him playing against, like, Skaven and just getting run over. I see him playing against, like, you know, any of the newer armies and just getting plowed. But he keeps going, man. He's a trooper. And apparently, from what I've heard, Beastmen are going to be better in the 3rd edition of Sigmar. So we'll see how that goes. The movie Troy. Yeah, I've read the book. Yeah, oh yeah. I've read the Odyssey and the Iliad and all that sort of stuff. I had to read it all in high school, so. Yeah. We're going, man. Could Morker use his spawn summon in the duel? That would be dishonorable, but, you know. They are beastmen, so I don't think they care much for honor. So I suppose he could. Yeah. The movie was pretty fun. I mean, it's like kind of... At the time, I remember thinking it was kind of haggard, but now that I look back and I watched it again recently, I was like, you know what? I enjoyed that movie. It's not perfect. It has its flaws, but, you know, it was fun. I've kind of found in the past couple of years, you know, I've been taking it a little bit easier. I've been less critical of movies. I've been trying to enjoy everything for what it is. But Greenskins and Beastmen together worship Mork and Mork? No. The Beastmen worship the Chaos Gods. Even though the Chaos Gods, like, neglect them super bad, the Beastmen are like, you know, they want the love of their parents, but they just can't get it. It's kind of sad. But, yeah, they try their best. They try their best. It's so funny because Beastmen have just always been neglected in, like, every game. Tabletop, 8th edition, Sigmar, Total War Warhammer. They're just, like, always neglected. But still they put up a good fight, right? Like, Beastmen aren't the worst faction in the game. Like, despite all the hatred they get from everyone, the lack of updates, the memes that are made about them, the Beastmen still go strong. You know, they still go strong. Yeah, it's great. Something to talk about. They're persistent, you know. They're persistent. There was a gentleman when I was in Ventura. I met this one of our neighbors when we were there for a short time. He was like probably in his late 70s, and he played Fantasy Beastmen in the 90s, and he had like his full army painted. Still going strong. Yeah, it was a good time. Chaos Gods equal Games Workshop. Yeah, it's really funny. The Beastmen are just always the laughing stock, and also in lore too. Like, if you've read the Gotrek and Felix books, there's a chapter where essentially a Tzeentch warlord and his like 2 sorcerers are sieging Kislev City, right? So Kislev is under attack, and the first thing that the Chaos Army does is they send all their beastmen to be sacrificed. They're like, all right, gather up the herds. So they gather up all their haggard beastmen they have and send them to get massacred at the castle walls. So the beastmen just charge in and get absolutely massacred, and then the Chaos Armies eventually come. You know, but the Beastmen are like just sent in as absolute sacrifice. Yeah, it's pretty hilarious. I know that guy was that older guy was so cool. Yeah, he was an absolute G. So the Empire Army, Flagellants, mostly with a couple of Huntsmen in the back. Huntsmen are really good, universally good against Beastmen and Coasts, so that's really nice. And we do have some Centaurs and Hounds on the far sides of the battlefield. We have Harpies ready to descend on the Huntsmen, I would imagine. And the Carronades, what are they shooting right now? They're shooting at Volkmar, but you can see some good control here by Volkmar the Grim. He's basically utilizing the hill here. If you really zoom down, you can see he's kind of a hidden target. And Volkmar is trying to avoid the cannon fire because there's a hill here too. So Volkmar is taking the circuitous route here, moving up here and pressing into the side of the formation where the cannons won't be able to hit him. And that's really strong. I mean, Volkmar could move up here, go up and over the hill, and Centaurs aren't going to be able to do shit against Volkmar. They can move in. Oh, but Volkmar took a couple cannons before he got to cover. Shield of Faith active. I think he needs to keep moving over here. I guess maybe he's a little bit afraid of that Beast Lord. Hard to say. Yeah, the defensive coast, the Beast Coast army just kind of hanging back right now. It looks like there's going to be some witchcraft on Volkmar as well. What is that going to be? No, it looks like that's probably just the Shield of Faith. But yeah, this is going to be a big fight here on the flank. Basically, the Ungors of Satsuma and the Centaurs and Volkmar should all push this together, the Unholy Alliance. Now, in the front line, Flagellants will be able to bust through the Deccan mobs pretty quickly, as will the Sigmar Sons, so that is going to be putting some pressure on the secondary line very quickly. And now the Huntsmen are getting good volume of fire. They're shooting into Chaos Spawn and various other units. However, the Huntsmen will now be attacked by the Harpy Legion. Are there any units for the Sigmarites in the backfield that can actually peel off these Harpies? If not, you know, they might be in some trouble. I mean, having all these Huntsmen compromised here is not a good situation at all. Although some of the Harpies might just go down. We'll see. Now, a big flank engagement. This one's quite important. We do have the Beast Lord getting in here to fight. And the Ungor Spearmen herd are holding proudly. Nice little Vile Tide going down as the Gors and Flagellants advance onto the cannon line. Overall, I would say just looking at the circumstances of the battle, I think it's going a little bit better for Clan RTK here. I feel that this flank engagement is going to be pretty dominant. The Beast Lord is in trouble. Centaurs are getting broken. Spears moving up. Volkmar unimpeded. And the cannons are about to be compromised. One cannon here for Delta is going to be going down, attacked by the Gors. And it looks like Felix will be able to get Volkmar the Grim, move in there after the Carronades, and then methodically move across. Move across. Because nothing can really stop Volkmar here. What can? I mean, the Chaos Spawn are probably the best bet. But with good maneuvering, Volkmar should be able to get around them. Now in the backfield, the Empire using a lot of crossfires. They don't have the traditional tools that you would need to bring down the Huntsmen. So they're, or excuse me, the Bats and the Harpies. So they're just kind of spreading out and firing at any ones that are free. We also do have the Sterlin's Revenge here, which is a really nice inclusion because of their combat prowess. The Sterlin's Revenge can actually defeat most of these harassing units in melee, as they are Free Company Militia RORs, and they do not mess around. Now the Beast Lord, trying to prove that he's not a meme by taking out this albino goat right here, and it looks like the Bray Shaman. That's actually a really cool color scheme right there. I would probably paint my Beastmen like that. I think that's a cool looking scheme. It's very unique. The Bray Shaman is, you know, trying to take the Beast Lord to the club, but he is not wanting to listen to those sweet jams. And is there going to be a Cygor summon here or a Vile Tide? It looks like a Vile Tide was cast over here on this side. But the Beast Lord should be able to kill that Bray Shaman of Satsuma, which is a nice catch. Regardless, the battle is very heavily favored for the forces of RTK, despite that pick right now. Volkmar the Grim going balls deep in this backline, as is Morker. All the cannons are compromised. Centaurs for Satsuma collapsing here. A nice little Burning Head going to be defeating the last of the defensive chaff here. And I think this is only a matter of time before the game is ended. Count Noctilus, of course, can do okay against Volkmar, but with proper cycle charging, I don't think he's going to have much of a chance. The Empire has stabilized its backfield. We have a couple Huntsman units returning to the battle, which is going to be quite devastating for sure. And the Beast Lord did do a good job against that Bray Shaman, but he's still working on it, which is taking him quite some time, while all the cannons and valuable assets here in the XMT army is put to rest. So Count Noctilus dropping a nice little summon here. Maybe a pistol summon back here could have been a little bit more efficient at shooting him, but still hard to say. Soulfire Bombardment blessing the reins down in the old world, as Count Noctilus does get bombarded there. And here comes Volkmar the Grim, moving across to finish off the last of the gun units. The brave Flagellants of Sigmar, look at them, only 6 of them left. These guys are going to go back and party like it's 1999 in Altdorf with Volkmar the Grim after this. And looks like Volkmar does charge into the Zombie Pirate Gunnery mobs. Yeah, finishing those bad boys off. So, bit of a foregone conclusion. The game is over at this point. The forces of XMT, in my humble opinion, do not have any chances of winning. But a valiant fight nonetheless. It was a very cool matchup. Getting to see like Coast with Beastmen and then Beastmen with Empire. But clearly the Sons of Sigmar have a better relationship with the Beastmen. You know, they hang out all the time in the Drakenwald Forest. So, understandably, they have a little bit of a better relationship. So, Yes. There you go. GG, well played. I wish Bloaty Boys were competitive. So there was a match I had a couple weeks ago where bloats were actually the deciding factor in victory. I can't remember what it was. I think I played an elite Dark Elf army and like the bloats were able to just win it. Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to think like which matchup bloated corpses are the best in. So the Beast Lord valiantly trying to get in there, but the Sterling's Revenge, they got their the mustaches. They have mustaches, right? Yeah, they got like small ones. You notice though that none of the Sterling's Revenge... Okay, there's a couple of bearded folk in there. I was going to say, most of them just have the power stashes. Yeah. Christopher Watson, I know. It was a stretch. When the reference like popped in my head, I was like, it's a little bit... It's a deep reach, but we got there and it was fun. I mean, it was raining, you know, it was raining Soulfire. You know, it all works, right? It all works. All right. GG, well played. So that was big. That was a huge clutch play from Felix and Satsuma, getting RTK back on the board. Because had they lost that, the matchup would have been over. Straight up over. Would have been GG. Very well played. But in this case, they will continue on. And now they have a chance once again to get back into this Clan War series. As they will be earning 2 points for this, putting them up to, I believe, 4. And then there is, I believe, 2 1v1s and a 3v3 left, if I'm not mistaken. So there's a total of 5 points. So they'll need to win, you know, quite a few of those matches. Yeah, Foot Emmerich was a raid boss earlier. Yeah, hopefully you got to catch that game. We have Count Noctilus here, you know, just being Count Noctilus, taking like 2 hours to kill. Looks like the players are all saying GG. Noctilus just going to be kind of sitting there, trolling us all, making us watch him grind to the bitter end as ya boy Volkmar rolls on his pimp cart and gets ready to party. Gets ready to go. Oh yeah, the bloated can do it. The bloaty boys can surprise you every now and then. Nobody expects them, so if you just like hide one in a tree behind your army and they like flank with cavalry or hounds or something, you can one-shot them usually, which is pretty funny. Yeah, there you go. Good night, sweet Count Noctilus. Army Loster should be kicking in for him soon. I'm surprised it hasn't already. It's always a little bit weird with him. I feel like Count Noctilus has some weird benefit against army losses where it just doesn't trigger when he's on the battlefield. I mean, they literally have nothing left. Nothing. Like, the bounce fire is like, you see it ebbing back and forth for some reason. Stable binding. I have no idea what's happening. It looks like the Hard Knock Life trying to get onto Volkmar here. Now going to be getting focus fired a bit as he continues to waddle. Delta trying to make a valiant last stand here, but the focus fire should be triggering the losses. Yeah, let's go ahead and watch this bounce power here. Vile Tide going down, sending a message. Doesn't quite knock him over. It looks like Count Noctilus able to march through the fire in flames, but now he's going to be getting blasted, and there's army losses there. So he should be disintegrating. Yeah, there he goes. Crumbling, disintegrating. The Hard Knock Life will continue to be hard as Noctilus is focused down by the Sons of Sigmar. GG, well played. GG, well played. It's a Hard Knock Life for Coast. All right, so let's do it. That song's taking me back. And let's go ahead and break down the values. We'll look at some of the important details, just anything of note. Mostly this is probably spread out over the army. It looks like a couple of Centaurs got 1,000 plus. Volkmar the Grim, only 800, but he survived and was a presence the entire game. The Huntsmen all paying for themselves, with some of them getting over 1,000. A couple didn't, but overall for this army, how'd the Carronades do? Yeah, none of the Carronades really shined. And for the Beast Lord, he got 1,200, so, you know, paid for himself. He costs about that much. I think he's like 1,200, 1,400, give or take. Depends on the items. Yeah, GG, well played to these two fine champions. Now we can update the scorecards here, and RTK is going to be going up 2 games there. Not going up, but gaining 2 games here. And we can go to the scorecard, and we can look at the overall tail of the tape. So that is going to be a victory there for the vicious Satsuma and his teammate. So I should probably do the double highlights on the 2v2s to make it a little bit cleaner here. So sorry, guys, you caught me early in the morning, so I'm still getting the old gears turning. And RTK is going to get 2 points for that 2v2 match. And perfect. So 4-7 at the moment. Next up, we have Bob Tresh versus, Lizardmans versus Greenskins on the Pillar of Bone. Very cool. The Bone Zone, baby. Let's go. It looks like Vicious Satsuma might be editing this. Maybe there's been a substitute. Okay. So Bob has been replaced by Amuf Hacker. Looks like we had a little bit of a drop, unfortunately, but that's all good. Matt V. Hey, Turin. Thank you for the entertainment. A little suggestion. Maybe next time you host a 2v2 in bigger games, you make them play Order Tide versus Evil. Yeah, you know, I actually was thinking about doing that, like having alliances. So you have the order, you have we would have like the destruction, we'd have death, and then we'd have like chaos. I'm legit thinking about using like the Age of Sigmar structure to do a 2v2 tournament. So yeah, that's something on the horizon. That will happen. And thank you so much for the donation there, my friend. All right. So enjoy that while I jump on over and get the next match ready. The series is getting close here, so you guys can kind of work out what needs to happen for both sides. Let's see if they have a lobby yet. We'll find out here in a hot moment. 1, 2, 3. There we go. All right. It is time. We have XMT, the Sheik, facing off against, I believe, yeah, I'm not sure. I think this is a move hacker. He's playing under a different name right now, so let me see who's on what side. So we have the Sheik, XMT on the left. And let's go ahead and get this going. Yeah, looks fine. We got to switch this, update it. Cool. All right, so we're just kind of waiting for the game to start right now. As far as the overall breakdown here, yeah, this is real time. These games are live. They're not pre-recorded. So how many points do we have left on the table? Oh, yeah. Okay, so there was only one more best of one left. Okay. So A-Move Hacker, in order for RTK to win this, or... Yeah, okay. So basically, if A-Move Hacker loses this game to the Greenskins, then it's basically impossible for RTK to win. However, if A-Move Hacker wins the game, then we have the 3 points for the 3v3, which could actually give them a 1-point victory if they were to get that. Now, if the Iron Sheik is able to win this, that pretty much seals the deal. So big pressure for sure. And the 3v3 is filled with some very, very strong players for sure. Dude, this is a big one. This is a really, really important match. All right. So it's time. You got A-Move Hacker versus the Sheik. All the weight of the old world is on the shoulders of A-Move Hacker here. And the Sheik of XMT going to be coming in trying to end the game, going for the death thrust. And we will see if he can do it. Yeah, should be good. Should be good. You know what we should have done is actually done the 3v3 first. Like, just for the excitement, because then no matter what, you know, I guess that doesn't really matter. Yeah, ending on a 3v3 is pretty epic as well. All right. So here we go. Battle is soon to be upon us. Let's go ahead and load in. We are in the Bone Zone, one of my favorite maps. I know it has some balance issues and it's really small, but I still do enjoy the Bone Zone. There's something about it that just, you know, I like. I don't know why I like it. I think it's like the little pyres around the battlefield, just the burning flames and all that stuff. But yeah, it's fun. It's a good time, man. It's a good time. So we do have the Jurassic Park. Earlier, we did see Falcon defeat the Greenskins with his Lizardmen. So we'll see if we get a similar build. I wouldn't be surprised to see them just copy Falcon's build and try and execute in the way that he did, which of course is hard because it is the Dark Lord, but still wouldn't necessarily be a bad idea. We're doing it, man. We're doing it. We're having fun. So the battle is here. Let's break it down. Once more in the deep, we have the Lizardmen versus the Greenskins. Looks like it's going to be a little bit of a different build, I think. Oh my god, are we seeing what I think we're seeing? Check this shit out. So, for the forces here of A-Move Hacker, we have Lord Chungus, Maz the Muddy. We have the Amixon Barbs, as well as the Thunderous One. We got Cold One Sphere Riders. We have a bunch of just chaff units, basically. But the Amixon Barb is very interesting. I think that's tech against, like, Stone Trolls. We have a bunch of Chameleon Skinks hiding up in the bushes here, which makes sense. And that seems to be it. And now for the forces here of the Sheik, it's going to be Goblins and Night Goblin Fanatics. Oh, the Fanatics are here. Okay. Orc Boys in the secondary, a DACA line of Savage Orc Air Boys, backed up by some Bacon. And we do also have some Orc Boys. So by Bacon, I mean the Orc Boar Boy Cavalry. The Lord's going to be Grom the Paunch with a Giant Herb Troll Hag, as well as a Brainbuster Caster, it would appear. Yeah, I think there's an Orc Shaman in there as well. And it looks like he does have Brainbuster, yes, to punish the Skinks and other infantry like that. So let us know your allegiances. Which clan are you guys rooting for? Who do you want to win? If you guys want RTK to win, let us know in chat by typing RTK, and same with XMT. Type your allegiance. Which clan are you pulling for based on what you've seen today? Now, this is a big decisive game. A-Move Hacker pretty much has to win this. Otherwise, RTK is going to be losing today's clan war to XMT, regardless of the 3v3. Personally, I'd really like to see a big epic 3v3 conclusion that is decisive, but again, both these players are great, and I'm excited to see them in action. So here we go. The Stegodon is the thunderous one, the big boy himself. The Chameleon Skink's going to be pressuring into the flank. Lord Mazdamundi, I believe, is the choice. It looks like he does have the Nets and Apotheosis, so no Harmonic Convergence. That's one difference that he and Falcon had. Harmonic Convergence was brought before and was able to do some work, so we will see how that goes. All right, so we got some mixed allegiances. Very good. Yeah, very good indeed. All right, all right. Pretty cool indeed. So here comes the flank. You can see the Chameleon Skink's going to be moving about, shooting into the forces of the Sheik. We also had the Popcorn cohort up on the high ground. I did not notice that. The Popcorn cohort going to be engaging against the Orc Boar Boys. Oh, they need to get the charge. No, A-Move Hacker is going to miss the charge a little bit. Okay, he gets it at the last second. I don't know if they got the charge bonus, but nonetheless, the Popcorn cohort should be able to massively dominate here in combat and really easily dismantle the Orc Boar Boys. Orc Boar Boys are pretty trash in combat. I mean, they're okay for their price point, but generally that's not a big strength of the Orcs. However, Grom the Paunch is going to be coming in, and Grom is like one of the most disruptive characters in the game. Net of Amachok going down from Lord Mazdamundi. Okay. And the Shield of the Old Ones. Now, Mazdamundi has gotten into the archer line kind of unimpeded. And you can see here the cohort of Sotek has also busted through the front line. The Goblins getting run over. The Thunderous one heavily in pursuit. Really important here for the Dinos to finish off most of the Orc archers. On the far side here, we have Fanatics dominating the Skink cohorts. No surprises there. These Night Goblins are getting worn down. And a little bit of some units left behind here. The Sheik needs to get these bad boys in action. He's got several units, over 1,000 gold idle in the backfield, not doing anything at the moment. So they need to move in and start getting, down and dirty. Mazdamundi, in the meantime, getting afflicted by Spirit Leech. The Thunderous one able to punish the Savage Orc Air Boys. And the Chameleon Skinks with a really nice follow-up, while the Popcorn cohort continues to just ravage into the backfield. It looks like we did have other Cold Spear Riders, which are units that generally don't perform terribly well. With the giant River Troll Hag being Shadow Realmed right here, knocked back by the giant Stegodon beast. Yeah, look at that. The Thunderous one thundering through the Greenskin lines. Now, big macro perspective here. We do have some Goblins. We have the 8-peak Loonies, as well as some Fanatics pressuring the Skinks in the backfield. Don't really care too much about that for the Dinos. They don't really mind. And the Amazon Barbaras are going to be coming around and potentially speaking to some managers. We will see. Thunderous one hunting down the Hag, and Grom the Paunch also in combat. Grom is scary in melee combat. If he has his items popped, the Axe of Grom, he can actually do a ton of damage against single entities. But even still, these two big old dinosaurs might be able to turn and start beating him down. It looks like they're actually trying to snipe the Hag, which is a little bit of a taller order. We will see. Greenskins stabilizing a bit in the backfield with their skirmishers, which are able to kind of poke the heavy cavalry. Also, some Orc Boys have engaged against the Chameleon Skinks of A-Move Hacker. And I think a lot of it is going to come down to the Grom versus the dinosaurs. And it looks like the two dinosaurs are going full Jurassic Park up in this hoe. And they are able to get that nice engagement against Grom. Lucky Banner was active, which prevented a lot of damage. But now the Lucky Banner is off, and Grom is a little bit vulnerable. But he pulls back. Very good play there by the Sheik, knowing that Grom is vulnerable. Let's get back, reset those cooldowns, and then rinse and repeat once they come off once again. So here, Lord Mazdamundi going to be afflicted by a Spirit Leech. We do have the Rusty Arrow still online, which is a bit of a problem here for the forces of A-Move Hacker, of course, representing RTK. It looks like the XMT champion here, the Sheik, is going to be pulling ahead a little bit. His DACA line allowed to shoot for a little bit too long. Balance of power is actually in the favor of the Greenskins here, but it's not the point of no return. I think if Mazdamundi could get in here, if they could disrupt this archer line, it could really change the dynamic of the game. But until that happens, there are going to be problems. Cohort of Sotek fighting pretty hard. We do also have the Amazon Barbaras in the backfield, and they are going to be shooting at God knows what. They haven't really been able to find a home. I think a couple Pterodon Riders, maybe to do some rock drops and things like that, could be a little bit more useful here. But yeah, the big Dino's really getting pounded pretty good. Thunderous one dropping some thunder here on the Savage Orc Air Boys, but the Rusty Arrows and Savage Orc Air Boys still functional in the backfield, but a nice collapse coming in from the Skink cohorts should be able to make very quick work of the Rusty Arrows here. They're not great in combat, nor are Skink cohorts, but they still have a big numbers advantage. Mazdamundi getting very, very worn down. Grom the Paunch in here with his big axe beating on the Thunderous one. And Lord Chungus is trying to find his way around to actually deal with the big boy. We will see. Yeah, going after it. But this greenskin Taka has been very effective this game. And honestly, a big investment in something like the Amazon Barbs is being shut down by like just haggard greenskin skirmishers, which is why they're so risky. You know, they would have been really good if there were stone trolls, if it was more of like a compact greenskin army. But will Mazda Money be able to get this game back? It's tough to say. Thunderous One pushing into the battle lines might get some terror routes. The Hag is also broken off. And now it looks like a net going down on Grom the Paunch. And Mazda Money comes in with a steel chair, and the Thunderous One coming in from the other side as well. Okay, this could be one way to normalize the game and equalize it, I should say. Mazda Mundi stuck between two big chubby lizards here and is going to be getting attacked pretty heavily. Not Mazda Mundi, excuse me, Grom the Paunch. And Grom is wavering. He might actually break here. And Mazda Mundi getting the blows. Negative 33. The Thunderous One going to be getting an Apotheosis. Maybe no, looks like Spirit Leech going down from the forces of the Greenskins. But Grom is on death's bed. 63 HP on Grom the Paunch. The big dinos are still fighting the good fight. The Amazon Barbaras in the back have taken out the Savage Orc Air Boys. And also the Orcs here are a little bit broken. Shield of the Old Ones going down. Could this be a Lizardman comeback? It was looking pretty grim for them. It's funny because right as I say that, I look in chat and I see some people saying F for lizards. Well, apparently not. The massive chub combination of these two big dinos able to break the leadership of the Greenskins. So the Giant River Troll Hag broken. Grom the Paunch is offline. He's running. I think he actually got killed. And now we have Chameleon Skinks pushing up. We have the Popcorn Cohort. And pretty much all the Greenskin tools are offline. Guys, this looks like it is going to be a very epic comeback from the Lizardman here. And talk about clutch. A-Move Hacker had the weight of the entire series on his head. He was losing the game, and he finds a play. He makes it and gets his team back into action. There is now hope once again for the clan of RTK. And now we are going to be having, you know, one final 3v3, it looks like, to win this. Ruination of Cities going down. A good one, mind you. It almost never does anything, but in that case it did. Players are not saying GG yet. Greenskins do have some skirmishers coming back, but with the Hag being offline, being chased by Chameleon Skinks, the Orc Shaman's offline, the only thing left are the AP Loonies. I don't see any hope here, and I think army losses will be kicking in a hot second. Probably in about 15-20 seconds, give or take. I guess there are some Orc boys on the other side, which are kind of keeping them in the battle, but Apotheosis is probably still here too. Ooh, but a Spirit Leech going down. Very, very nice. Hag is back. Okay, could the Hag carry this? Oh my god, this is so back and forth. Mazda Money needs to just give that Hag the business and break her. Like, just go straight in there and just do it. The Spirit Leeches are pretty effective here. Although the Thunderous One's leadership is holding firm. They're actually using their ballistas right now, and the Amazon Barbaras are just hunting down whatever prey they can. Yep, looks like they're able to finish off the last of the Loonies. The Hag just sitting in the back getting Spirit Leeches. Chameleon Skink's going to be unleashing some Poison Darts, which may tank the leadership of the Hag to the negative here. And, yeah. This is crazy stuff. There you go. The Hag is gone with the leadership of the Greenskins being cut. That will be it. Let's give the Barbaras the cinematic shot they deserve as they shoot their barbs into the Savage Orc Error Boys there in the backfield. Might be able to finish them off. We will see. But, yeah, Spider Rider's moving in to fight them. The Barbs are okay in combat, but they might get broken. But, yeah, there's nothing that can stop the monsters now. The Lizardman dinos are way too strong. They will tear route pretty much anything that comes near them. And the Greenskins being so beat up. They don't have any ITP left on the battlefield. No Insane Troll Posse action. And that is that, yeah. I actually thought when the Hag was coming back for a second, I was like, wait a second. Is this Hag going to just drop the sack of meat on these guys and defeat them? But banishment as well from the Lizards. The bound spells have been actually very good this game. All right, guys. This is it. Everything is on the table. RTK pulls the win with A-Move Hacker. He gets the victory, putting it up to 7-5. XMT has the advantage. However, the last game today is a 3v3, which is worth a whopping 3 points. So, in this case, let's go ahead and do this. Boom. Let's take a look at the breakdown here real quick. We can see here Lord Mazda Mundi having a pretty good performance. Thunder. Oh my god, the Thunderous One got 3,492 value. Oh my god. And Barbara, how did Barbara do? She only got 500 value, not the best. And of course, yeah, very good Greenskin army. Like, clearly he had a big advantage. The only thing I don't like about the army are the Orc Boar Boys. I feel like they're just trash, but aside from that, just replace them with Spider Riders, and I think you're better off. Yeah. Pushes all chips forward. Yeah. Let's go break it down. Look at the last match of the day. So, in this case, we get RTK with the 5-7. Hopefully this last match won't be too laggy. Oftentimes they are. But that is going to be a victory for RTK. A-Move Hacker stepping up in the fourth quarter with the epic victory. And now we have the 3-point game. It's going to be Human Boy, Vicious Satsuma in Spud House, facing off against Falcon, Maximus Decimus, and Poison Ducky. Let us see if XMT's legacy of winning team games can continue, but they have some tough opponents here. Some tough opponents here on the other side. It's going to be great. It's what we all wanted coming down to the last game. I couldn't agree more. And now we're going to go ahead and jump in that lobby. Get ready for the final match to decide the fate of the old world. And now we're going to be spectating. Again, my sincere apologies. There may be a lag. There are a million people in this lobby connecting from USA to Russia to various European countries. And it's just, it's going to be wild. So, yep, we're just going to hang tight here while the players get their armies ready. No rush, of course. But let's do it to it. Let's do it to it. Yeah, Falcon has won all his games today. He won the 2v2 and the 1v1 he played in. We'll see if he can continue his legacy. I believe both of the metaphorical team captains are in this match, which is quite cool. Here we go, man. Here we go. What are your predictions? Ganon says, I rooted for RTK the last 3 games, but now the factions are looking XMT favored, plus the Dark Lord. Yeah? Plus the Dark Lord. I like how that name actually stuck. You know, we started calling him that and it just like stuck. It's so fun. I don't know if Falcon would perceive himself as a Dark Lord. I wonder what he actually thinks of that. Yeah. Anyways, we got Satsuma on Norska. We have a Vampire Coast ally as well for RTK with the Spud House. And then we have Human Boy Yes Yes on the Skaven. No surprises there, of course. And for the forces of Falcon. Oh, look at that. They changed their name. So if you guys could see the lobby right now, Falcon's name is Extreme. Ducky's name is Meta. And then we have Maximus's name is Tryhard. So Extreme Meta Tryhard is currently their... I can't pull it up without accidentally showing the armies, but yeah, it's a really fun little thing right there. Yeah. We'll see. We will see. Goddamn, my stupid mustache, man. It's just like itching. I always like, you know, have these like elaborate dreams about growing epic facial hair, but then when I have to deal with the maintenance and the itching, I'm just like, no longer. No longer will I suffer. All right, guys, so they're getting this last match ready. Thank you all for joining. They changed all their names to Extreme Meta Tryhard. That's really funny. We've seen some memes today. I think that despite there not being memes in some games, I think that Killerinu himself carried the XMT clan with his game with Foot Imric. That like made up for everything. Yeah. I think that's good. It is really funny that Seafang can go on land and just like sail across the grass, you know. Don't ask questions. It's just some warp witchcraft. Some treachery. So Shimi Nissan, let me check. All right, I'm checking. There it is. Sorry, I did miss that. It was during the heat of the battle and I was so focused on the commentary. So donation coming in from Sashimi Nissan. Hey Turin, been a crazy couple weeks for me. I hope all is well in your world. I've been binging your content again after a long break from Warhammer 2. Hype for Warhammer 3 made me come back. Hell yeah, man. Dude, and it's gonna be good. I know that some people were worried about Warhammer 3 after seeing the survival battle and like, oh no, it's all gonna be like a MOBA, but dude, don't worry, it's gonna be great. Now the one critique and concern I do have for Warhammer 3 is that I am a little bit scared that on launch, we're obviously not getting a combined map, okay? Like, that's coming a little bit later. So we're going to get probably Kislev, Cathay, the Chaos factions, and then, you know, what's it called? Whatever the 7th faction is. And my concern is that is going to happen in multiplayer too. Like, I will be really sad if Game 3 launches and we do not have all the factions in multiplayer. I really hope that Creative Assembly, like, at least for multiplayers in Quick Battle, adds in every single faction. I don't care if you just have a single map. Just please, for the love of Sigmar, add in. I don't want to just play the 4 Chaos factions against Kislev and Cathay all day. That will be fun for like a month, but like that's going to get old real quick. I really, really hope they do not do that, because that happened to us in Warhammer 2 for a while, if I'm not mistaken. That would be a disaster. I would be so sad about that. As a matter of fact, yeah, I mean, come on. Just put them in quick battles. Yeah, Cathay is confirmed. Yeah, Cathay is confirmed. Dude, I really, really hope that doesn't happen. Yeah, I'm pretty sure at the launch of Warhammer, it was Warhammer 2 was like that too. Like before they had the combined map on Mortal Empires, we didn't have them in multiplayer either. I mean, it's still you can get a fair amount of matchups out of that, but it's like, yeah, if we have to endure like, you know, over a month of that or like several months, God, I really hope they just add them in multiplayer. Yeah, I really do. Because like the coolest shit is going to be seeing like, you know, the Empire fighting against like a Khorne army or something. You know, the Sons of Sigmar and their fanatics fighting against like Khorne cultists and like Nurgle battling Bretonnia. Like that's the shit we want to see, you know? It'll be fun at first with Kislev and Cathay, but like that will get old quick in multiplayer, I can tell you. Because like how are we going to host tournaments? Like what, you only have 6 factions to play in the beginning? You know, I hope that doesn't happen. It's not the worst. At least we have 6, and it's not just like 4. But still, I really do hope that, at least in multiplayer. Yeah. Yeah, it's 7. It's really not that bad with 7. Look, we would survive it, but this is like a personal wish list for me. I just really hope we get that. Just at least in multiplayer. I feel like that's doable for them too. Just like port them over. I mean, or like, I don't know. I don't know how it all works. Maybe it's harder than I think. And 7 factions still means 21 matchups. Yeah. It's true. It's true, but it just wouldn't be as good. Yeah, 4 of them are demons. You kind of lose a little bit of the variance that makes it really spicy, you know? Because I didn't even think about this until I read the post saying that a combined map will come later, and then I had like the flashbacks. You remember the dog like having the flashbacks? Like I had that moment when I was like thinking about Warhammer 2. Now I remember casting those games and being like, "Oh my god, please add in like the game 1 factions." Yeah. Yeah, Immortal Empires. Yeah, I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna ask that question. I'm gonna see if I can get an answer to that. I mean, look, we'll push through it, but I don't know. Hopefully, it happens. Yeah, Shatra, I hear you, but it's like it's not. It's gonna be hard to not want to look at the Warhammer 3 factions for sure. So Dimitri saying it's hard for me to imagine how Khorne will play with no magic and only two range units. You know what? They're gonna have probably like ruins and things like that, like similar things. Like basically in tabletop, currently Khorne's army has like prayers to Khorne. Basically, they have like a slaughter priest and he can like do like chants or whatever. So they'll probably have some mechanic like that on their characters and on top of that, you know, they're just gonna be they're like dwarves but just melee focused. They're gonna have like something similar to runic magic. But, you know, just going to get in there and get down and dirty. Yeah, Khorne will struggle against air for sure, I think. I mean, let's see. So you're going to have the Skull Cannons. I don't remember what other anti-air they had. They have Marauder Horsemen, right? Yeah. Imagine all the Khorne mirror matches. Yeah, Chaos and Chaos is fun. In lore, you know, the Chaos Gods are constantly fighting as well. So that makes sense. Like, you know, if you've ever read 40k literature or fantasy literature, like the Chaos Gods are always scheming against each other, like followers, and they're always like backstabbing the other ones. So, you know, would you be willing to endure a month more of waiting for game release to be guaranteed all factions to play in multiplayer? You know, I don't know. Probably not, because I don't want to take away the launch experience. Like, I wouldn't want to. I don't think it'd be fair to like delay the launch experience for so many people like who care more about campaign. So no, I wouldn't want that. You know, I'd rather they just launch it. I'm just saying, I just hope that they can make that happen. All right, so who's on what side here? So we have the XMT squad. Yeah, okay, the scorecards are on the bright spot. No Marauder Horsemen, yeah. Yeah, okay, Bloodthirsters. Okay, never mind. They're not going to be that bad against air because Khorne has Bloodthirsters. They have the Skull Cannons, and they also have Furies. So they have the Flying Furies, which are like fast and furious. So yeah, Furies will be a good answer against air. I mean, Bloodthirsters can fight flying air forces, and, you know, the Furies can swarm other things. So, yeah, they'll be fine. Every time I read Furies, it makes me think, yes, a little something different there. All right. Here we go, my friends. Well, the thing about the factions being delayed is that we won't know how OP they are until they fight the older factions. Like, because the only perspective we're going to have is new against new. So it's going to take even longer to get balanced because you won't immediately have the old versus the new. See what I'm saying? That's just my opinion, though. I mean, I could be wrong. All right, so for the forces of XMT, I don't know who's who. They're all like playing under different names. You can see meta. We got extreme, meta, tryhard. So we got extreme, meta, and then tryhard here. So basically, for the forces of XMT, it's got to be Marauders and Skaven Slaves in the front line. Sons of Sigmar are handling the artillery. So we have triple Hellstorm or quad Hellstorm rocket battery. My favorite multiplayer build. My favorite 2v2 and 3v3 build. I love it. We got Volkmar the Grim, Prince Sigvald. So Slaanesh and Sigmar are teaming up today. We got Ikit Claw on his Doom Wheel with a Life Caster as well to heal Ikit Claw most likely. That's what's going to happen. And that is it. With some Poison Wind Mortar Fire. So basically XMT going for a big artillery build. We have double Poison Wind Mortars. We have quad Hellstorms. And then basically just a bunch of chaff as well as Chaos Warrior Halberds here in the front to give some buffering in the front line. So very cool. Now for the forces of RTK, you know, coming from behind here, down a couple points. But if RTK does win this 3v3, they will indeed be winning the event, which would be an epic comeback. Skaven Slaves, Marauders. We've got a couple Bombers, Globadiers, and Rat Ogres. So, yeah, barely any ranged in this build. They have Natty Boobo Sharpshooters, a couple Horsemen and Deck Droppers, but for the most part, their artillery prowess is next to nothing. So they are going to have to advance into the Fire and Brimstone, which is the XMT Hellstorm rocket battery line and mortars, which is going to be very tough. I think overall in terms of the builds, I think that XMT may have a slight advantage. I think this build's going to be much tougher to crack. But we'll see how it goes. For the Lords here, we do have Luther Harkin up in the sky. We have Grayseer Plague for the dreaded 13th spell on top of the Hellstorms and Throg Daddy. So pretty competitive Lords for sure. This should be good. Who is more grim, Eltharion or Volkmar? Ooh, that's tough. I don't know Eltharion's lore that much, but I think Volkmar is a little bit more heavy metal. Therefore, I'm going to give him the edge on the grimness because, yeah, Eltharion suffered loss to Grom the Paunch, but Volkmar literally like leads a crusade into the chaos like wastes, like with like out of completely just goes out of his comfort zone, goes on a crusade to the chaos wastes. His army gets massacred. He duels Archaon one-on-one. Archaon kicks his butt, but he still takes the fight, right? And like, which is super boss, right? And then after that, they basically crucify Volkmar. They march him back down south. Eventually, Volkmar escapes and is like resurrected. There's all this crazy shit. Like, Volkmar's lore is insane. He is super heavy metal. You know? Like, if you guys want to read up on that whole saga, it's pretty nuts. Like, he gets killed and then he gets resurrected as, like, so the demons can, like, torture him. And they basically crucify him and march him south. And then, like, during a battle, he somehow escapes and, like, he's revived. It's just, like, crazy shit. Yeah. I think Volkmar is way more metal. And like a lot of people were saying, like, oh, Kostaltine is the new, Kislevites guy is going to be more metal than Volkmar. I'm like, dude, have you read Volkmar's lore? this guy is insane. He is just insane. Yeah, you guys should, if you haven't read it, go to the Wikipedia page for Volkmar and read that whole saga. It is intense. So the forces of RTK are going to be forced to advance. The Hellstorm rocket batteries raining some hot Sigmarite fire, some steaming payloads here onto the forces of the RTK clan. The Marauder's going to be taking a little bit of fire. But what's cool about RTK's army is nothing in the army really is like that weak to Hellstorms. A big flank coming around as well, which I like quite a bit. We have the Gunbats as well as the Marauder Horsemen looking to kind of poke into the flank. And the Sorcerer here of Tryhard, God, I don't know who's who. It's so troll. It's very XMT. Has been discovered. Will there be some sort of a reaction from the XMT armies? Will they send some Marauders over here? Something else? Looks like the Hellstorm rocket battery is actually shooting into the Horsemen now. But so far, the Mortar team's doing some devastating damage. Skaven Slaves getting punished a little bit. Here we do have some aerial pressure coming in from Luther Harkin. And yeah, the big amount of stopping power is about to kind of come into this XMT army. Natty Boobo Sharpshooters shooting into the Mortars. A very good counter right there. They can't be seen, and there's nothing in this XMT army that will ever discover them. So the Sharpshooters should be able to methodically take out a couple mortar teams. Hellstorm rocket batteries shooting into basic Marauders. Again, just doing topical damage. It's mainly just chaff units. And what is this? Oh, the dreaded 13th spell used there. Now, that is cool because it shuts down the mortars, but a bit of a mistake. If the dreaded 13th spell had been used on top of the Hellstorms, it would have instantly killed the crew, and the Hellstorms would be offline. Now, at this point, the Spearmen get a chance to react, and the Hellstorm rocket battery most likely will survive, as the Stormvermin don't really have amazing stopping power. On the edge of the battlefield, we have the Deck Droppers and other skirmishing elements. The Marauder Horsemen trying to find a way into the back line here. And the front line, of course, for RTK is really just getting pounded by mortar fire. And obviously, Chaos has good infantry here. We have some halberds and other tools like that. And so far, so good. A little bit of frame rate lag, but honestly, not too much like internet lag, which is okay. A little bit of frame rate lag is, it's good for the soul. Kind of keeps you sharp. Throg Daddy in the front line, still fighting the good fight. And here, Volkmar the Grim looking to get in and intercept some Marauders. Who would have ever thought that Volkmar the Grim would actually team up with some Skaven slaves and, fight shoulder to shoulder? The Rats might even get the blessing of Sigmar with the Hammer of Sigmar, which is pretty darn hilarious. Now in the backfield, we get a little bit of penetration coming in. RTK Vicious Satsuma moves in and does get on top of the Silver Bullets. Very nice execution there. And now the Deck Dropper Bats are moving out from the bushes and looking to maybe start sniping the Hellstorm crews. We're not sure. Mortar team still very much online, and we do have the Grey Seer as well as Throg trying to penetrate into the secondary lines, maybe looking to go after Volkmar the Grim. And again, sorry about the lag. It's pretty much impossible considering that we do have a massive battle taking place with over 7 connections in this lobby. So the fact that it's this good is a miracle, to say the least. So the Ogres, in the big flank engagement here, you can see the forces of RTK moving in very aggressively, trying to compromise the mortar teams. But there are layers and layers of Sigmarites. We have Marauders back here and Spears, all of which should be able to move up with proper micro and intercept the Rat Ogres and really give them the dirty. A big Burning Head going down as well. Stormvermin and Halberd summons are offline, but unfortunately for the forces of RTK, the Hellstorm Rocket Battery will survive. Now back on this side of the battlefield, Jezzail still going strong. We do have the Globadier Fire teamed up with the Condom Wolves, cleaning up the Marauders, and it looks like Coast is going for a big central push, moving in, and now suddenly the XMT battle lines are going to be somewhat compromised. We do have a big center mass push, very much a big deviation from what we normally see from the XMT guys in team games. Normally they really just use a lot of single entities and have a goon squad, but in this game they went wide with like a gun line and an artillery line, and it seems like the aggression of RTK is really paying off here, as we do get Throg beating down Volkmar, right? Volkmar is not good against Throg. We have Wolfric here, and it looks like there are some Skaven assassins, and Sigvald is there as well. So a lot of character pressure here, and it looks like Luther Harkin might actually just be dying here. He's being shot by some powder fire in the back. The Silver Bullets unleashing a torrent of fire into the Dreadlord. And Volkmar the Grim going to be going down, but if Volkmar can trade for Luther, it's not the worst trade in the world. And if Volkmar is able to escape this, mind you, that's going to be devastating. He has a lot of room for his healing cap, so he can kind of just chill in the back. Sigvald going for the kill. Might be able to get Luther Harkin. Rival High Talisman is active. Will the Prince of Slaanesh get the kill? No, it looks like his lust has driven him elsewhere, as he had to take out that Condom Wolf. But Luther Harkin does actually end up falling to the fire from the Silver Bullets. Soulfire Bombardment is dropped. And Volkmar the Grim, 120 HP, very low, being focused down by the Jezzails up on the high ground. Can he juke these shots? You can see here attempted jukes going down from the XMT player, but I think Volkmar with 69 HP is going to be making his last stand. And now Throg Daddy is being hunted. Okay, absolute chaos in the rest of the battlefield. Can't really tell what's going on. Mostly spearmen and halberds and chaos warriors just fighting each other, but this really is the epicenter of combat. Volkmar the Grim has fallen, but the 2 assassins are chasing down Throg, and Ikit Claw is kind of bumping and grinding him with some Clan Rat spears. If the 2 Skaven assassins can get out here, Throg may potentially be falling and or getting chased off the battlefield as well. Currently, the bounce power does favor the RTK clan. It seems like their build has been pretty efficient. I suppose I overestimated the value of the Hellstorms, considering that there were no good infantry in that army, which is a very smart choice. When you're playing against Skaven and Empire with mortars and Hellstorms in team games, I think bringing shit infantry is the way to go. Because again, those Hellstorms then won't be able to earn their value back, and it's not going to be that devastating. So real life is, yeah, it's pretty good considering, guys. Considering it's a big 3v3, I would say it's going okay. So another big pit fight here. Vampire Coast has come in, the Spud House bringing in his stopping power to help out. Nice teamwork from both sides. The Condom Wolves also surrounding, and Ikit Claw does get absolutely slapped right there. So the surrounding Condom Wolves from Satsuma teaming up with Spud House's durable Vampire Coast Crab Core have really overwhelmed this position, while the Skaven Assassins, which normally would be very helpful in this fight, are trapped in combat, and Prince Sigvald is, he's doing his thing. Sigvald is giving the dirty to the Vampire Fleet Captain, which potentially gets rid of the caster, but nonetheless, looks like a pretty dominant engagement over here for the forces of RTK. Now, doing a big macro zoom out, you can see the army of XMT has won many of the engagements here in the low ground, pretty much swarming with XMT. We have a lot of infantry, slingers, mortar teams online, chaos warriors, as well as halberds moving up on the high ground to try and compromise the Skaven weapons teams, but they are getting a lot of punch in before they potentially get caught, so we will see. Will Throg kill Sigvald? Well, that would be lore friendly. And Sigvald here attempting to fight. He's got the 2 assassins. I think that XMT is going to have to get some good gooning here. If Sigvald and the assassins aren't able to get some picks, I think the game most likely will be over. But if Sigvald and the assassins can turn up the heat, to bring down Throg, if Sigvald can beat down the Skaven assassin, I think we could see potentially a shifting paradigm here in this battle. But good control here by Satsuma, getting Throg back, knowing it's kind of a losing fight, and that the only way that XMT really can get back into this is by character sniping right now. There's still a Grey Seer, which is going to be super disruptive. And yeah, the Halberds of Chaos doing well for meta here, aka one of the XMT members. On the far side, Satsuma has really good battlefield control. Pretty much anything that's rallying for XMT is probably going to be chased down by the Marauder Horsemen, really showing the value of these units in the later stages of the game. So here they go, charging into the Hellstorm rocket batteries, getting some nice work in there. And the deck droppers circling about and doing their piece. Balance of power is not point of no return yet, that's for sure. With Sigvald and the assassins on the battlefield, you really can't count them out. Sigvald just going deep here onto these condom wolves and able to get some work in. Now bouncing over after the gunnery white. Sigvald should be able to put some hurt on it. The 2 Skaven assassins have been very trapped up, but now we do have some halberd support coming in from the XMT forces. Will probably push back the Krabos, but of course Spudhouse here with some good control is going to be retreating back and avoiding most of that pressure. And restructuring their forces, basically, which I think is smart. So Condom Wolves moving in once again. Skaven Assassins and Sigvald still just bumping and grinding. Over here, we do see the forces of RTK starting to take over and really just push down all across the battlefield. And man, oh man, this has been an absolute scrap. It looks like some Skaven forces running for the hills, but Marauder Horsemen doing a really good job. Like, all of these units, if they were able to re-centralize with Sigvald and the leadership, would be big game changers. We're 8 minutes into this game, and we're still just getting an absolute royal rumble of a fight. This is pretty epic for sure. But look at this. Spudhouse getting a caster caught here. The 2 Skaven assassins able to get him. His leadership was crumbling right now, and yeah, the crabs are being hunted by the assassins. Sigvald's also not slow. He's got 40 speed. So when he gets that charge acceleration, he can sometimes catch these type of characters. We'll see. But the assassins with 54 speed should be able to get those picks. And that is a really, really, really big one. Gets rid of the healing for Lamprey's Revenge as well as the gunnery white. And yeah, man, is this going to come down to a late game Sigvald play? As long as his little Skaven assassins stay with him, I think if the assassins get disconjointed and picked off, that's probably going to be instant GG, but we will see how it goes. So some Spearmen and State Troopers reorganizing, trying to bring the army together. In the meantime, Satsuma is still doing an excellent job hunting down all these forces, making sure that nothing comes back for the forces of XMT. And this whole battlefield is pretty much just a rout, right? We have a couple things. We have Human Boy here with his clan rats also chasing down Chaos Marauders. Human Boy has some scary forces still as well. Human Boy has been doing an excellent job keeping his little rats alive. He's got the Assassin, he's got the Grey Seer, he's got the Poison Wing Globadiers, and where is the Prince? State Troopers still fighting as well. This is great, man. This is great. Very solid stuff indeed. Deck Droppers, ammunition running a little bit low, but wait, where did Ikit Claw come from? Holy shit! Ikit Claw's back on the menu. He must have gotten a regrowth. Because Ikit was like on death's bed earlier. Oh my god, Ikit Claw is like... I'm trying to think of a good reference. You know, like how in old school WWF, like back in the 90s, or as it's called now, WWE, like they would have like a whole story narrative where like a certain wrestler was like killed or buried, but then like he emerges. You know, the Undertaker emerges from his crypt and like everyone's all afraid. That's basically what Ikit Claw just did right now. He's back, and that really changes things. Ikit Claw is actually okay in single entity combat with his little laser beam. Although it looks like he's probably a little bit low on ammo. No, he's doing pretty good. So, the forces of RTK are going to be organizing here. XMT organizing here with Ikit Claw plus Sigvald and the 2 assassins. Oh man, I did not expect Ikit Claw to come back. He got punished really bad. But again, there was a regrowth with the Empire Army, so there must have been an Ikit Claw. Yeah, Ikit is the Undertaker. I know, now we just need For Whom the Bell Tolls to play. Well, I guess that wasn't his theme song, but I think it's very fitting, right? So, Ikit is Gandalf the White. Okay, that's a great analogy as well. Ikit Claw the White. Yeah, man, this is crazy. These players are scrapping so hard. I wish I knew which XMT player was which. I don't remember from the lobby, so it's hard to tell, but I guess it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Deck Dropper's getting a little bit of extra ammo. Assassins moving forward, and Sigvald, I think, is the MVP. He's just like this presence that you just can't get rid of. And I mean, looking at the army here, Sigvald's going to be a super big pain to kill. Like, what in this RTK army can kill Sigvald? Sure as hell not that Grey Seer. Maybe the Assassin plus the Gunnery White. But aside from that, like, Sigvald's so hot right now. Okay, Throg can kind of put a beating on him, but even still, Throg is an anti-large character. Sigvald probably could outduel Throg at this point. Yeah. Don't call it a clawback. It's been here for years. Yeah. Good old L. That's LL Cool J, isn't it? Don't call it a comeback. Yeah. I think it is. Yeah, Mama Said Knock You Out's another great song of his. All right, so Prince Sigvald just charging, and this is what he does. Sigvald just chases shit, and like nobody wants to deal with him. He's just such a nightmare to deal with. On the other side of the battlefield, the assassins are going after Throg, and so is Ikit Pimpclaw. Oh, this could have been a mistake. The fact that Throg didn't get unified with the rest of the army, this could be a comeback here. But the Condom Wolves push in to save Throg, which is a smart play from Satsuma. The assassins should be able to methodically pick off models. Sigvald's he's pretty hot right now, but he's also surrounded. He needs to make sure to focus his fire on the assassin. Sigvald might have bit off more than he could chew here, with the assassin plus the gunnery wight beating on him and all the crabs. But we'll see how he endures. Yeah, Sigvald's kind of getting worked on. The assassin's trophy really mitigating his defensive stats, making him a little bit more manageable for these forces. And here comes the reinforcements. I think right now the XMT team realizes the error of Sigvald here. Sigvald's Folly. It's actually a moment in Warhammer Fantasy lore. It's called Sigvald's Folly. But he needs help. He needs some milk. This is not a good engagement for him. Is that going to be a Brass Orb? Okay, Brass Orb here is kind of cute. Gets rid of some of the surrounding chaff units. But Sigvald is getting dragged down by all these units. And it seems like he hasn't been able to get the damage back. But, you know, most characters would have died in this situation. But Sigvald's holding. And the Marauder Horsemen are going to be rushed in. This is an excellent play here by Satsuma. Basically keeping the assassins and Ikit Pimpclaw from getting in there to help Sigvald. And Sigvald may just die in this fight. Is he going after Lamprey's Revenge right now? It looks like he is. And now he's turned his attention over to the Gunnery Wight. Assassin Trophy is active. And the Globadier Fire coming in might be a bit of a misplay here because it might actually do more damage to friendly stuff. Sigvald's wavering. His leadership's at 21, but the Skaven reinforcements are rushing in. Oh, and Sigvald escapes. He just barely escapes. Oh my god. An Ikit Claw. And now the Gunnery Wight's going to die. So at the end of the day, Sigvald's Gambit might have paid off. I mean, killing the Gunnery Wight is a big pick. It gets rid of the extra powder, gets rid of ranged sniping. That is quite nice. And Ikit Claw and the two assassins pile in. I don't know why the bounce power is so bad right now. I feel like it should be more even. I'm looking around trying to see what's left. Okay, we got gun bats up in the sky. We have... Okay, it's because of Throg. Yeah, we have Throg and the Condom Wolf still healing. So that's a big part of it as well. But the Gunnery Wight is down for the count. Now they are going to be pushing into the Poison Wind Globes, which the extra powder, I believe, was used on the Globadiers there, which is very, very nice. Sigvald falling back to his State Troopers, trying to fight with the Sons of Sigmar. And Ikit Claw is going to be just getting his Doom Wheel and his Assassins and going in after the Poison Wind Globadiers. That folly may have cost XMT the game. Sigvald overchasing there. But it's certainly not over yet. We got some Spears, we got some Condom Wolves. The Globadiers should be getting broken here in a second. And now it looks like the Assassin and the Grey Seer are going to be going after the Prince. And the Spears will pile in to help him here as he's at 524 HP. The Condom Wolves wrapping around. Chaos Warrior Halberds also making an entry. The Globadiers do get punished, and now it's time for the block fight. Sigvald pops all his buffs. He's very, very low. Going to be trying to get away from that assassin. I think the other two Skaven assassins of XMT are going to pile in and try and take out that one. Sigvald maybe just wants to stand and fight here, although I guess keeping him alive is quite nice. Ikit Claw being attacked by the Condom Wolves. Very, very nice play here by RTK. Taking out the Doom Wheel here is quite clutch. Yeah, Ikit's very low. Looks like there's going to be a bombardment. Oh my god, is that the dreaded 13 spell? Oh, it is! Oh, and it nukes the Spearman. Oh, what an epic way to end the game. Army losses kicks in. And guys, RTK with the come-behind victory is going to be winning the tournament overall 8-7, as the 3v3 does count for 3 points, 1 point for each player. What an epic ending with the dreaded 13th spell. And Sigvald getting caught there. Wow, what a series. What a series. Let's update the scorecards here to accurately reflect all the good business that has taken place this day. RTK is going to be winning 8-7. Oh my god, what a series. Absolute lunacy. That was a really, really fun event for sure. The hype is here, and they win it. So now we'll go over and make it official. Head on over to the score sheet. And this is going to be a 3v3 victory there. Let's go ahead and fill that bad boy. Look at those Excel skills. RTK, 8-7. Hold on. And there we go. What a close one, man. What a close one. Clutch. Because, man, XMT was so behind in that 3v3 after the initial engagement, but they scrapped it back and almost, took the lead. I think the Sigvald getting hunted down was crazy. Yeah, man. GG. Dude, the dreaded 13 spell was nice, too, because there could have been some weird RNG shit, but saving the dreaded 13 spell to trigger army losses was really smart. Plus, it also nuked 2 state troopers, so that was a big win. But on that note, big congratulations to RTK and XMT. Both of the teams put up a great fight. RTK came out to a 2-0 lead. XMT then swept them for a ton of games. And then RTK came back. Both teams showing resilience in the face of adversity. And just making for a great showcase. So I believe Vicious Satsuma was saying that this is going to be a somewhat regular series. We're actually going to be starting a league with all the different clans so that we'll be having these type of events. There will be a grand finals to see who the strongest clan is. So all the other clans you guys enjoy watching will probably be in action, like ODM and VM, and there's so many great clans, right? So that should be really, really fun. Quite excited for that. So stay tuned on details regarding the clan league, which will be, if they'll have me, if they're willing to, I'll happily cast them here on my channel. But yeah, that will be going down. So looking forward to that, my friends. And again, congratulations to all the players. They put on a great showcase for us today. Big thanks to the 2 clans as well for organizing this event. They did a lot of nice work here, and I have to say it's a big pleasure and relief to be able to just focus on casting the games and not have to worry about like the logistics and organizing players and all that stuff. So big thanks to the 2 clans for putting all this together. All right. That is it. We're done. Ito, yes, of course. In QSA, there's so many clans. Are you guys going to be involved? I sure hope so. You got to drag Aerocrastic back in there. Get him playing again. Bring back the man. Goji, sometime next week, perhaps. Yeah. So, big thanks to everyone for joining. If you enjoyed the format, please do drop a like on the way out. Helps out quite a bit. And again, thank you to the mods for helping out. I saw that we had some action in chat, so thank you guys for handling that. Do appreciate that. And now, big thanks to some very generous donations from Sashimi Nissan, to Matt B, Templar Knight. Again, I can't read your name. It's katakana, but thank you so much for the huge donations. They donated like $400 a stream. Thank you so much. Arigato, man. Huge ones. And I will get you your Naga Sea Witch on the Warcraft 3 stream next time I play. Aside from that, from Eric Smith, D Willow, Stray Gamer Battle Tutorial, we got iPone Kyle, and then we have some new members as well. Here on the old channel. Let's go and check it out. God, I'm such a caveman. I can't figure out all this technology. Help me, Anakin. I'm too weak. I can't hold any longer. And several new members joining. Welcome to the Dukes of Haggard, my friends. It's a good place to be. All right, that is it for today. Take care of yourselves. And we'll be back tomorrow, most likely, with another stream. I'm going to go chill out for now and check in on my smoking hot wife, and we will go from there. So cheers, guys. We'll see you next time. Congratulations to the 2 teams today. It was a lot of fun, and we'll be back with more action soon and some very exciting stuff here in the next couple weeks. Cheers.